Let's do this.
Welcome back, family.
Let's do this.
How's it going, everybody? It's funny because we're playing that 30-second intro with the music and everything, and I'm watching the little screens, and I'm dancing, and Greg's dancing, and you look over at Deegan's screen, he's like, "What shows am I doing in January?" he's like so professional.
No, I was thinking to myself, I was
so
like, crap, I posted in my stream or in my stories about the stream like a couple hours ago. I was like, maybe I should post again, and that's what I was sitting here like thinking about. And then I also felt like I should break out some glow sticks with that lead-in music. I feel like I'm at like a rave in the desert.
Look, I didn't think you were playing Angry Birds. I knew you were doing something professional. I wasn't being sarcastic. I was saying,
hey, you never
like,
know,
oh,
man. You never know. It's almost kind of like an unfair hack when you're self-employed. Is you can be on your phone, and if anybody's like, God, that's so rude. It's like, I'm sorry, this is an important business email.
Yeah.
And it's like in reality, you're just like looking up like, who was president in 19? It's like, but I didn't say that. So if I'm ever on the phone with anybody, it's an important business email.
Absolutely.
So we got Josh
right, let's see.
Teague here. Welcome to the chat.
Josh Teague, what's up?
Welcome. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I got so much fucking energy right now. You guys are in trouble. I'm like raring to go. Like, I don't know why. I'm just like,
if this turns out to be a
no, you guys run all this.
I might have to duck out early.
No, yeah, you guys run this, so you decide when it's over. I'm just telling you that while
I run nothing. I run nothing.
While I'm here, I'm like, I'm ready.
Perez, good evening.
What's up?
Oh man.
I think part of it is I actually oh crap, hold on. Actually, before I say that, I need to research something. I promise.
Which
it's actually
was who was president in 19?
Ronald Reagan ? In Google.
Ronald Reagan had the bowling alley installed, right? In the White House.
Was it Ronald Reagan?
I don't know. This is Rich's. Oh,
I didn't know there was a bowling alley in.
Come on, Rich, you're the old guy.
Oh, not Ronald Reagan. Richard Nixon is what I'm thinking.
Oh, that makes
I didn't know there was a bowling alley in the White House.
Oh, sorry. So what I was gonna say was, I think part of why I have so much energy is because earlier I recorded. I was a guest on an episode of Joe Talks Comics podcast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So anybody who's not following Joe, it's on Instagram. It's Joe Loves Comics, and I think it's the same thing on Twitter as well. But Joe is awesome. Like, that was the first time that I got to talk to him outside of Instagram chats and stuff, and super great guy, and we had a really awesome talk. And would you believe it went for like 2 hours. That's so weird for me, but yeah, it was an awesome conversation. Talked about the exclusives and stuff, so I'll definitely be posting that when that episode is ready to drop for everybody, so that everybody can check it out. And it's a really cool show, so I'm excited for that. But I think that's why I have energy, because I was talking to him, and like, I've just never like gone down since then a few hours ago. So I'm just like, I'm just cruising.
It's good. It's good. Can I show you guys something special?
Right, wondering why we didn't do a.
I'm dying here with this lag.
Who's lagging?
I don't know. Everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, what'd you say about me, Rich?
What'd you say?
I didn't say anything about you.
Oh, I thought you. Sorry. Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
Man, it's lagging so bad. He's got phantom issues with people.
I was saying, it's anybody who was wondering why we did not have a new comic book day on Wednesday. There's twofold. One, Greg didn't get any new comic books, and B, I was stuck at work late, never got to the comics shop. One of the fun things about being in maintenance at my factory is we do have to fix things as things break, but we are more to the point responsible for the things that specifically we break. So when I'm trying to rush out the door and I go and I borrow the giant new rental forklift and not didn't quite open the garage door enough and I knocked the garage door off.
Oh,
jeez.
It was
Oh boy.
going on into the 20s. I'm like, all right, I'll stay. I'll accept. And this was just installed a couple of months ago, too, the garage door. They didn't bolt the frame to the building. They welded it to the frame, to the building. So I had to cut all the welds and get the track moved and put the garage door back where it belongs. And I'm like, God, I just want comic books. It didn't happen.
That's no good.
So,
well, I didn't get any new comic books this week, but I got some that were a little bit older. Can I show you the one that I'm most excited about?
Do it.
Do it.
What would you do if we were both just like, no?
I'd be like, all right. That's weird. I'd get
You're
like real passive aggressive about it.
You're like, all of a sudden he would kick us out of the stream. And
oh.
There's not much
cool.
special about this book itself, but it's Kevin Conroy's signature.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had to get something.
That's super cool. I'm sure people are taking advantage of it too and charging an arm and a leg for stuff at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it's not the old 9.8, so but that's not really the reason behind it.
Was more about the signature than anything.
Yeah. I wanted to get a signature for a while and it just didn't come around near me and there was no signing event, and I was like, oh, damn. Hey, what's up, Larry?
I think
Larry.
Now, while your comic book is awesome, absolutely, I think he typed in "that's awesome" to me hitting the garage door with the forklift. So
maybe. Maybe.
I think your comic book is more awesome than me destroying a garage door. But
hey man, to each his own, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I have my choice, I'd rather have the comic book than a broken garage door. Just saying. It's close, but I'd probably lean toward the comic book. So
hot take there.
Yeah. I enjoy destruction. Well, then, Larry, you've won several prizes for me. I have your address. I will be there with the forklift as soon as possible.
It'll take him 2 weeks to get there with the top speed of what, 10?
No.
Top speed of 10.
30. It's a 32,000 pound forklift that costs about $300,000 with a top speed of about 30-35.
It's probably safe that way. You don't want to go 46 on in a forklift.
This thing is monstrous, though. That's the reason I got here at the last second, as I was showing a video of the Hyundai Corporation doing a walk around commercial for this forklift. They have commercials for everything. And she's like, you hit a garage door with that? Is there anything left in the building? I'm like, yeah.
Is it weird that I want to see the forklift commercial?
It's more like it's not a commercial like you would see during a Super Bowl, but more like if you were interested in buying it, you'd get this 5-minute video from Hyundai saying, "Welcome to the tutorial for the Hyundai 160D. This is a wonderful forklift." As you can see, it has a completely sealed door and cabin pressure is positive on the inside, which not only helps control the climate control, but makes it much more quiet on the inside. It has AM, FM stereo cassette. Yep, there you go.
Man. Oh my God.
That's not the one, but yes, that's one of.
Is that the 160D-9?
The 160D-9.
Yeah, that is not small. That looks like a monster truck.
I know that thing. That's not what I was thinking when you said forklift. I was thinking like, your standard forklift.
Well, the reason I hopped in it, the Yeah, the reason I hopped in it because I had to pick up a broken forklift and put it on the other side of the property with it.
Oh, so that's like the forklift you get for other forklifts.
Yeah, and
Tune
no,
into our
Larry, I
stream,
will not
ladies
be
and gentlemen,
freezing,
for
driving
exciting
95.
forklift action.
I know. I feel
Because
like every time I'm on here, this is always what ends up happening in the first like 15 minutes. Is it's some like random, like, I mean, so random you couldn't call it if you wanted to. Like
Well,
if we put
I
bets
didn't know in advance
down,
I was going to hit
nobody would have guessed that we were going to be talking forklifts. Like you could have given somebody 100 guesses and they would have gotten it wrong every time.
well,
Yeah, Richard's lagging a lot. He just teleported. It's like 1 second
Okay.
he was here and then another second he was gone.
I'm just glad it's not me. Whoa, he's back again.
Looks like he's got a schlab.
Yeah, he had to one up me.
Sorry.
You should be.
No, that's why I didn't want to show it. Oh, here's my coffee cup I've been looking for 3
Did you
days.
watch the video
Please.
that I edited fully?
Okay, never mind. I'm not showing it now.
Did you see Larry's comment?
I haven't had a chance yet. No, because it has heat and air conditioning.
Oh, geez, man.
It's a closed cabin.
It's got a moon roof. The thing has a moon roof. Come on, man. It's a better. That forklift is more.
What's the difference between
ventilate
a
out than my
sunroof and a
car.
moonroof?
I believe the proper term that most people call a sunroof is actually a moonroof. It's like the glass that can come up and go back and reveal the sky.
Okay.
But I think a sunroof is not one. Is one that can is just a window, and that's it.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
It's what do you call it? The Mandela effect, where people just keep calling it one thing and it just eventually takes on that name.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I think one is either just a pain or it has the ability to just tilt it a little bit to get air. The other actually will retract and open completely.
Yeah, Richard's just saying what I said. So
Yes. Yes.
Oh, man. He just mansplained.
But I thought moonroof was the one that did not open.
no.
Oh, man. We lost 2 people, guys.
Oh yeah, we're going down. We had 7.
I don't think they were. I don't think they were in for the forklift chat.
All right. So,
All right, comic books.
Comic books.
Hey, all right. This is the first appearance of Razor from this Green Lantern animated series. No one cares, but I do. I'm going to request they put the little key information on the slab, even though CGC doesn't by default. Next comic. Let's go.
The one that I did get in the mail this week.
Yes. Show it.
Okay. It is a Miss Marvel from 1978.
Oh, this is a great book. I'm very proud of you for this one.
And it is a 9.8 white page. CGC. Signed by Claremont and Stan Lee.
Ooh, that's a cool one.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the greatest signatures. You got Claremont signing it right in the middle of Marvel.
And it just looks like a little kid took a marker to it.
Yeah.
Yep. And Stan Lee wrote black, very thin marker over the yellow flaming body. But
I don't mind his as much as Claremont's there, though.
Yeah, at least you can tell his is a signature.
I think that one of the things that I really liked was it's a 9.8 white page book from 1978. It's probably my oldest 9.8. So coming up on 45 years old, 9.8 and double signed. So I was very happy about getting that. There, I did a comic book.
That's awesome. God, I have 2 slabs I could show off, but they're literally like I can't get to them from where I am. It would be such an ordeal to get to them.
Well, I just got 5 books back from CGC for the from the economy, and we did a video for the unboxing of it. Which that's what Greg was asking if I had a chance to watch his editing, and no, I have not because I've just been too crazy busy. But I want to. I keep thinking about. I wish I could.
I've gotten good reviews from other people so far, so I'm excited.
What video is it?
Just our last video that I put up.
Oh, okay.
That he did.
With the CGC
is that the
unboxing.
one, your CGC unboxing?
Yeah.
I started watching that video, but I had to leave the house since I haven't finished it.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, You're ahead of me.
Francis Manipool, remember you were talking about him?
Yes.
Deegan?
Nice.
This is got him to sign in at Baltimore there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um,
It's so much cooler when you get them to sign it in person.
real friendly. I think I told you.
Yeah, you did, and I was really happy about that because he comes off that way in his videos. So I was happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's just who he is.
Although, it's interesting when you come across something I didn't realize is a lot of these bigger artists, not that he's huge or anything, but he's pretty big, but they all have like handlers at their
Yeah.
desk.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's doing a commission, come back 4:30.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. I'm like, he's right there. He can just tell me. I mean, I know
Well,
he can hear me. I know he can hear you talking to me. Like, it's just a little weird.
And I have such mixed opinions about handlers too, because I know why they exist. Like, honestly, I'm nowhere near as big as these artists, and I feel like I need somebody with me at my table to function fully.
Makes sense for sure.
But like when I had my friend Christian, writer extraordinaire, great guy, writes Sidekick for Hire, plug. He helped me at C2E2, like I explained to you guys before, and he's so personable and so nice, and I think half the time people like talking to him more than they like talking to me. And I think that's how it should be if you have somebody helping you at your table, because so many times with these bigger artists, their handlers are guys that work for like those big artist representative groups, and a lot of those guys need a good customer service class. Like, some of those guys come off as so like short and standoffish and rude almost.
Yeah.
And it's just like dude, like you're dealing with the public, and public that wants to spend lots of money with your client. So, like if I was ever with somebody like that and I'm sitting right there listening while I'm working, and if I heard I wasn't digging their interactions with people, I'd be like, listen, man, if you're going to be representing me, like, better straighten up. Like, because I'm not going to have you representing me and coming off like a D-bag.
But you get your
We have a
first
question
question
for
here,
you,
looks
Deegan.
like.
Woo!
When you create variant covers, do you get to read the comics beforehand to get an idea of what you're creating, or do they just give you a brief synopsis?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, because that before I got my first published cover, that was a big question that I had. Like when I got my first cover, I was like, how's this going to work? And what I have found is yes and no.
I knew this was going to be the answer.
It depends on the comic, because when I did Supermassive, they were behind schedule from what I understood. So they were like down to the wire trying to get that book finished. So they didn't have it to send to us. So all that I got for Supermassive, which was crazy because that book introduced 2 new characters. So there wasn't a lot to go off of, other than like the character sheets. They sent us a folder of reference material of just pictures of the characters. But I didn't really know anything about Rogue Sun or Inferno Girl as characters. I just knew basically what they looked like. And for me, I think a lot of artists are fine with that, but I'm much more cerebral about it, and probably unnecessarily, but like I like knowing what the character is like, not just what they look like. Because that influences to me their body language and things like that, because some characters are going to be brooding and more, quiet and reserved, and that affects how they would be posed, because you're not going to have somebody like Batman posed up like Superman, like they have very distinct body languages. And so that was tough, having to come up with that cover and not having the comic to read. But then I did the cover for After School and The Closet, and I had full reference material for both of those. Oh no, I'm sorry, Slumber and After School. So they actually sent the first issues of both of those to me, so I was able to read those front to back. Oh, look at you! Are those the ones that I signed in Baltimore for you?
Yeah, there.
Nice.
And there.
That's awesome. And I told Greg too when he had me do that, those were the first copies of those I ever got to sign, because since those were Things from Another World exclusives, they didn't, work with me as far as like asking me to sign books or anything like that. They just sold them on the website. So yeah, those are the first ones of those that I really signed in person. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, so to finish the question, yeah, so it's dependent on the project. Like with both Radiant Pink and Nightclub, I didn't get anything. Like, I mean, I'm not talking bad, Mark Millar, I love you. Have me do another one. But with Nightclub, they barely even sent reference material. I mean, the reference folder, I'm like, oh, cool, they sent a reference folder. Click, and it's got 3 pictures in it. And it's the 3 pictures
You showed us
that I've
that.
already seen. Yeah, it's like cover A for the first issue and the Greg Capullo variant, and then a black and white version of cover A. And I'm like, okay, that's the same image.
I'd like to give a little behind. I'd like to give a little behind the scenes on this for the audience. That I only know of because I'm involved in this. When we were doing the Nightclub, we didn't know. You didn't know as an artist. Is it 3 guys or is it 2 guys and a girl? We did not know the genders of the characters, and it was because of one of the other colors. You're like, it looks like pigtails. I think that's a girl.
Yeah. Because the Grey Capullo cover, it looked like one of the characters had like buns, or pigtails. And then in the cover A, that character is so far in the background and wearing kind of baggy clothes that I'm like, this could be anybody, So I was terrified to officially start drawing the cover because I was like, well, I don't want to draw them as all 3 teenage guys. And then I come to find out one of them is a teenage girl. And all of a sudden I got to scrap that whole character and start them from scratch. So luckily they ended up sending through the cover for issue 2 that they had just finished. And that one prominently had Amy, the female vampire, in the front. And you could tell it was a girl. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
But then another behind the scenes thing was I finished the cover art, and I finished the cover art with I feel so bad. I gave my colorist James Affredi only like, I think it was 3 days to get it colored. And so I sent it over to him and I was like, hey man, do your best with this. I was like, I'm not going to lie, from the limited reference material, I can't tell for sure what ethnicity everyone is. So we're just going to have to do our best with what they sent us, so just kind of follow along with what the other colorist did. And we'll just hope for the best. And it wasn't until the day before the cover was due that our representative at Image was able to finally get me the answer to that question. Because I feel so bad. He handles everything, and he's one guy. So I'm just like, I can't imagine how many questions he's getting bombarded with through. And it's not just for Nightclub and Radiant Pink. It's like every month they have 7, 8, 9, 10 books with exclusives. Yep. And a bunch of shops that they're dealing with. So I'm like, I totally understand why it took him a while to get it to us. But literally the day before, he sends us an email and he's like, all right, this is directly from the creative team. Danny, the main vampire kid, is Caucasian. Amy is Asian. And oh gosh, I forgot the last character's name. Do you guys remember? It's Danny. Oh, Sam. And Sam is African American. So I was like, I sent that email over to my colorist, even though he was pretty much done already. And I was like, hey man, these are the ethnicities. Can you just tweak it slightly, to make it a little bit, easier to tell? Because we kind of were being more ambiguous about it, just to like cover our bases. But yeah, so it was interesting, and it makes it exhilarating. I'll tell you that. Like it makes it like, it's down to the wire. Like we got to get it done, even with the limited information that we have. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. It just depends on the comic.
If you really know comic books and Star Wars specifically, 1977, Star Wars #1, they made Darth Vader green because they didn't know he was supposed to be black.
Oh,
nice
man.
to know that
Yeah,
after
that's
45
crazy.
years, the lines of communication are about the same. Things have not improved communications in 45 years.
I always assumed that that was just a funky way they did black, like how they did like blue for black
Yeah,
in the
back
90s
then.
and stuff,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
So at least then,
No,
back then,
they
they
just
could kind
didn't
of
know
get
what
away with it.
color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and Jason Doyle, good evening.
Yes, I was waiting for time to drop that in.
Yes.
How's it going, Jason? Do you have any questions for Deegan? Fire away if you do. And anybody else?
So I've talked to Greg about your meeting finally in Baltimore. Deegan, how did you guys didn't go out for like lobster dinner or anything? But how you guys finally met?
Yeah, no, it was cool and it was weird. Like anytime I meet somebody that I've only known through the internet, it's always kind of like, like
three-dimensional.
like yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like seeing the Matrix, kind of. You're like, oh wow, you're a real human being, like for real. But no, it was really cool.
Hello, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And you and your wife, correct?
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I didn't get that wrong.
My son keeps taking my ring to play with, and we've lost it at this point.
It happens. But yeah, you and your wife were really, really nice, and it was really cool chatting with you in person. And you helped make me look like a bigger deal than I was, so that was appreciated.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Now we just gotta. I'm telling you, we all gotta be at Heroes Con this year. I think it needs to be mandatory.
We discussed this again yesterday, and we also said that we're definitely having separate hotel rooms because we watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles yesterday together.
Well, I always have to, even if I'm doing a convention with somebody, I always warn them because I feel bad because, like, when I have a friend of mine come and help me, my thing is I'm like, you don't have to pay for anything. I'll even pay for most of the food. I'm paying for the travel, the hotel, most of the food. I just need somebody to help me. And I feel bad because I have to warn them every time. I'm like, I snore really bad and I'm very sorry. And also even bigger of an issue than that is, thank God most of my friends are night owls. Because at conventions, I'm up until 2, 3, 4 in the morning, working on commissions to get finished that weekend. And I'm like, I'm sorry guys. Like I have to be at the desk in the hotel with the little lamp on, getting work done. So luckily they've all been really cool about it. And one of my friends could sleep through a fucking plane crash if he had to. So thankfully that doesn't bother him. But yeah, I always have to warn people. I'm like, not only do I snore when I do finally fall asleep, but I'm going to be working until God knows when every single night.
No, I grew up in New York City. I could sleep through sirens and screams and gunfire. And they were building a subway. You were blasting, and it was enough to crack the foundation of the house I was in. Didn't wake me up. But
Good
you come
Lord.
walking down the staircase, and I'm like, "Who was that?" So
I grew up in the suburbs of Houston and then Washington D.C. here, and I had AK-47s being fired in my face as I slept every night, and I just slept. It was not an issue.
Good Lord.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, I feel like with both of you guys' stories, I'm like,
I'm just trying to one up Rich.
I need to make something up so that I sound as hardcore as you guys do.
AK-47s in his face.
I don't know. Just the first gun I could think of. I don't know. Too much GoldenEye when I was young.
Yeah, it's a go-to. It's that or a Magnum. And you don't want to say that you had Magnums shot in your face because that could sound really weird.
Look, AKs are actually a very popular guns on the street. They are easy to get, and they're very reliable. They're very durable. You can bury them in the sand and pull them out and start firing it with them.
I've heard that too.
So. Welcome to the Guns and Ammo podcast.
Yes, formerly known as the Forklift podcast.
Yeah. Formerly known as the Moonroof podcast.
Can I ask you a question, Deegan?
Let me ask my representative. Excuse me, sir. It's my dog. He said, "Yeah."
Such a douche. Wow. Oh my god.
You're like, God, he gets a couple more covers, and all of a sudden he just changes.
So pretty much, I noticed immediately, like I feel like within like an hour, you had a rough sketch of what you wanted to do with Nightclub. Like within an hour of knowing we were going to go for it.
Yeah.
How does it just come to you? Like, I feel like that was really fast to have such like a rough draft down.
Yeah. I feel bad because so many of the answers to these questions is a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And I feel bad all the time because I'm like, God, this seems like I'm just recycling answers. But for that, it depends on the cover. Because what was funny about that one was when we were planning on, when we were just in the discussion phase about doing both covers, I had already started trying to come up with ideas for Radiant Pink. So I was thinking going into it that it was going to be easier for me to come up with the concept for that one than it was going to be for Nightclub. I was like, man, I haven't even started thinking about Nightclub yet. I'm not sure, what to do. And then, the minute that we got like the A-OK that we're doing this, it was so funny. It was like, it just popped into my head. And I was like, it's so hard to explain. Because I think it's something that just a lot of artists have is we're just able to envision stuff, so like I saw the layout of the cover in my head and it just like kind of popped, and I was like, okay, like a triangle composition where, and I don't know if you want to pull it up, actually, I can kind of
absolutely
talk through it a little bit, but yeah, it just popped into my head. I'm like, okay, like a kind of a triangle composition where, the main vampire is right in the front in your face as much as possible so that it's very, like coming at you. And then your eye will trail to the next corner of the triangle to the left. And then your eye will trail up to the final corner of the triangle and then back to, it's kind of like, it's that's like a very famous compositional technique, is just kind of getting the reader to kind of look in a circle, but it's not a circle, like you just kind of are hitting from point A to point B to C to A to B to C, and you're just kind of taking it all in as you do that. And it's so funny. Yeah. Like I just saw this in my head and I was like, well, even though I felt like it was kind of cliche, vampires, graveyard, the Grey Capullo cover was already in a graveyard. But, and you guys know, I adore Grey Capullo. He's in my top 5 of all time. Like I adore him, but I feel like the composition of his graveyard cover was much more static and much more flat. And the camera is really pulled back, so you're very far away from the characters. And so I was just like, okay, even though, Graveyard is kind of cliche for these kinds of characters and it's already in another cover for the same book, I feel like I can do something so different than that one that you won't think about the fact that it's essentially the same setting. And so, for some reason, this just popped into my head, almost fully done in my brain, like I knew the pieces that I wanted and everything. And I was able to, like you said, just really, really rough something out with like placeholder, I call them mannequin people, where they literally have no definition, it's just base poses. And it didn't change a whole lot from that initial concept. Like I tweaked the poses a lot, especially Danny in the front. I really made him a lot more dynamic and kind of coming at you more. And that was actually with the help of Patrick Brown, who I've talked about as kind of like a mentor for me, and I'm a part of his Patreon. So every once in a while, I'll send him pieces that I'm working on and be like, Patrick, give me your wisdom, tell me what you see here. And what's been so cool about that is I've been doing that with him for over almost 2 years, I want to say. And what's been so cool about it is at the beginning, when I first started doing that with him, his critiques were much more like in depth and much more changing a lot of things, and really, altering the piece. And slowly over the past 2 years, it's gotten to the point where he almost doesn't touch them. And he just gives like little itty bitty tweaks and stuff. And so that's been really rewarding, because it makes me feel like I'm really progressing, a lot, even in just the last couple of years. And so when he did this one, he just kind of gave me the idea to really bring out that hand, because I had it foreshortened, but he really brought it into the forefront. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, because it really makes you as a reader feel like it's coming at you, and that was a big thing that I've been trying to implement in my work since my Marvel portfolio reviews, because that was one of their biggest critiques is, really make things come at the reader more and point more limbs at the camera, because it just gives it more dynamism. And I really tried to because like you can see, like not only is his hand coming at you, but his knee is coming at you, his right knee. And then when you move over to Amy, her knee is pointed directly at the camera.
Oh, yeah, right here.
So it's like there's a lot of interaction with directly at the camera to give it more of a dynamic, kind of popping vibe. And I'm so sorry, guys. I know that there's a lot of lag. So Richard, I feel bad when you start saying something and then I don't realize it because it's lagging. So I don't mean to just kind of keep talking and run you guys over.
It's okay.
See, like that for me was like a good 5 seconds after I stopped talking.
It's all right. What I find, two things I wanted to comment on that was when Greg asked you the question about how did you come up with this so quickly, the design. My first thought was, I remember seeing how excited you were for going into these two covers, but you were more excited for Nightclub because you love not only the superhero genre but the horror genre. And I'm thinking, knowing Deegan, he's been designing this cover since 5th grade.
Yeah,
this has already been like rough draft. This is like, yes, I finally get to put it on paper. But when you were talking about how everything is coming at you, like the arms are coming at you, and you and I were discussing about how hard it is because you put an arm sideways and you can draw all the muscles and everything else, but when it's coming at you, you lose all the definition of everything that I'm touching right here. You can't see it. What you can see is a hand.
Yeah.
So and ever since you said how difficult that is, it seems like every cover you have has an arm reaching. I'm like, man, he's getting that training by fire. Let me tell you. And you're killing it. So it's really doing
I appreciate that, man. And that's kind of how I approach everything with my art is if there's something that I struggle with or something that I need to work on and get better at, I'm like, the best way to do it is just to fucking confront it and hit it head on and do it and do it and do it and not avoid it. Because the problem is I feel like the more that you avoid, and I think this is anything in life, but the more that you avoid something that's difficult for you, the more you get in your own head about it. So before you know it, if I keep avoiding it, before I know it, when I do really need to do it for a certain project or something, all of a sudden it's just going to be this, giant Mount Everest in front of me and it's going to feel insurmountable. So I'm like, fuck it. Like, let's just go for it. And every piece that I do now, I'm just going to implement those critiques that I got from Marvel and, just really try to get it to the point where I'm so comfortable with it that it's almost second nature and I don't have to think about it anymore, because like with this, I was planning that on purpose and purposely doing these things, whereas hopefully it'll get to the point where it's just natural and it's just becoming a part of my poses and, things like that. It's so, it's so true. Like you said, Richard, it's like I was talking about, like when you draw a hand that's coming at you like this, all of a sudden it's no longer very many shapes. It's just a couple circles and you have to, figure out a way to still make it look how the eye perceives that in real life. But on a flat plane, and it's it really screws with your
shading and everything
with your mind. Yeah, and I feel bad. I know we got a few comments, so I was gonna pop in there really quick. Oh, Tiago, hello. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, he came to the show with you. He didn't come to our show with Rob's Fat Stacks. Well,
hey, he says he's been really busy lately.
I'm picking on him. I love him. He knows I do. One other thing about the
cover,
but
I really appreciate his compliment as well. He said that I killed it on the cover, so thank you so much. And Larry had a really funny comment. He was like Rob Liefeld with feats.
Yeah.
What's funny with that though is he just keeps facing it head on, and it just doesn't really change. Like he just keeps doing them the way that he does them. I'm like, you would think that after a while something would change, or alter a little bit. But
it's his signature, drawing. That's all. If
You know
you ever
something
played
really
baseball-
weird that I'm proud of? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was just gonna say real quick. One of the things that I'm most proud of in this cover, and you'll never believe it, is Amy's foot, her left foot on top of the gravestone, the one that's pointed directly at you. Because I'm like, that looks like a foot that's pointed directly at you and slightly bent, and I was really happy and proud of that because I don't think a lot of people realize how hard it is to draw a foot pointed directly at the camera and make it look recognizable as a foot, that's got dimension to it and just isn't a horse hoof.
It's similar to the hand thing,
Yeah. But I'm sorry, Richard. Again, it was one of those things where I started talking and then I started hearing your questions, so I feel bad.
Not a problem. What I was saying about if you've ever played baseball and really gotten into the mechanics of throwing a ball, what they teach you to do is you plant your foot facing exactly where you want to go. Your knee has to point where you want to throw it. So if I'm going to be throwing, I catch the ball as a shortstop and I want to throw to first base, I have to turn, plant my left foot facing the first baseman, have my knee pointing to the first baseman. You've got the knees of these characters pointed towards us, so we know instinctually that they're coming at us, the reader.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's funny how just things that we don't necessarily think about in real life are visual cues that our lizard brain recognizes, in that way. Like, oh my God, that stopped me in my tracks. I was not expecting Richard to go lizard tongue on us.
I missed it.
Oh man. That's funny. I gotta run and let my dog outside really quick. He's whining. He's very upset at me. But then I saw Tiago has a statement, so I would love to read that when I get back. Just give me 1 second.
You got it. That lag is fun.
Oh my God, it's so bad tonight.
Is it me to you or him to us, or is it all three of us to each other?
I think it's all three of us. I think it's the service or something.
So it doesn't have to do with the fact that I haven't connected that wire yet.
I don't think so, but you never know.
Well, if it was the wire on my computer, it wouldn't affect the communication between you and Deegan, is my point.
I know. I'm just
okay.
Saying things. Sorry.
It's okay. I have to. Hey, could you do me a favor? In the Instagram message, can you? So I don't have to scroll back 4,000 messages. Can you give me your address?
Me?
I want to mail you some of these stickers. Yeah, you. I want to mail you some of these stickers.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Who, me? Couldn't be. Then who?
I was kind of like, is Deegan's gone? You're the only other person I'm talking to.
Oh, man. So here's a funny little
Buster's
thing that
like,
happened.
you know my address.
So that I posted a little 20 or 40-second snippet of our back issue book club for Green Arrow. I did a short on YouTube and I did a reel on Instagram, and I posted one on our TikTok that barely gets used or whatever, but TikTok blocked it because it considered it sexuality. And I disputed it because
isn't TikTok the most sexual of all the choices?
Yes, I was going to say I know there are 14-year-old girls that are more scantily clad than Black Canary is in the panel that I have showing,
and twerking.
You're right. This is a static image. So they finally reinstated it, though. I guess the AI canceled it and they manually put it back. That was interesting.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
Hopefully, you didn't hear me talking to my dog.
Nah, I was talking.
Oh, okay.
What's more
'Cause I
disturbing
was
is we
gonna
heard
say-
the dog talking back.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like, you would look at me and you would never expect, like, I baby talk my dog like crazy. I sound like a lunatic. But anyway, he's getting spoiled tonight. He's getting all the treats because I'm just trying to keep him happy while I'm sitting in my office. He hates when I'm in here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the spoiled basset hound laying on the couch right below the Darth Vader helmet. So Tiago's point, and he's got a two-parter. My favorite part of Deegan's cover is that he takes the time to know the comic before creating the art. Radiant Pink actually teleports, so his cover is just perfect. And just to be clear, I'm not talking bad, talking down, not sure if that's the word, sorry, English failed me now, about other artists. No,
I
Tiago,
really appreciate that, by the way. That's super nice of you to say. It means a lot.
I didn't take it as you were talking down about the other artists, but I don't know how to say this without making it sound too bad, but I feel that the other artists on the Radiant Pink really missed the mark and left the door open for a wonderful cover that Deegan did. Deegan's cover is so far above the other covers, in my opinion, which, as we saw during the distress look, is usually outvoted quite heavily. I just think
it's
that
like, wait, so maybe my cover is
Deegan's
terrible.
No, I don't want to talk badly about the other covers. Okay, I don't. But I will say that your cover
you can have an opinion on what you like the best, and like at the end of the day, like that's everybody has preferences. Somebody might hate my cover, but yeah, so I appreciate that, man. I really do.
All 4 covers are the Thor movies. Yours is a Ragnarok. The other 3 are, guess what? Love Thunder, Dark World.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, and honestly, one of the things, because again, like
Love and Thunder.
I love Love and Thunder, but that's a whole other discussion. Like one of the things that I am happy, and it was not on purpose necessarily, is that my cover is way different than everybody else's. And that's something that I was really happy about, is that it's not at all like anything that they that other artists did. And Greg, did I send you the updated version of this that was the final version, like that Image actually sent us? I think I emailed that to you recently. Because we got the final version with the like actual trade dress and like what it's going to look like. Let me double check. Greg, I've been sending you a lot of emails and I keep doing them.
That one?
Yes. Let's see. Oh yeah,
it's really funny with the lag.
Greg, it's in the email that says new images for shops for both comics, and it's like the 3rd email in that thread.
In the lag, Deegan, a lot of times you'll freeze, and then all of a sudden it'll start catching up and it sounds like Eminem doing Godzilla, and like, like, damn, he's a rapper. Good job.
Oh, I hate that so much. There we go. Yeah, so because it's funny, I joined the Massive Verse Discord recently, and I have to tell you, that is a very welcoming community. Like, they're super nice people in that Discord. Like, when I joined, like, so many people were really kind, and I shared the cover, and people were so nice about it, and like saying how much they liked it. And but it was so funny because somebody had posted the cover like way back when we first announced it, and it had the finalized image with the unfinalized logo and stuff. And somebody made the comment, they were like, am I the only one that it drives crazy that the logo, like the pink line in the logo, doesn't go all the way across? it just stops. And it's so funny. I was like, so when I posted the final version, I was like, and just so you guys know, the logo goes off the cover, so that pink line goes all the way to the edges, and so does the little white lines above, and below the logo, they go all the way across. So that's really the main difference. And they made the logo a little bit bigger. Like, it's hard to tell unless you swap back and forth between the two. But they made the logo a little bit bigger, and they made it stretch all the way across. And they actually made the image logo smaller. I've been really shocked at how small they make the image logo. I always kind of, I'm kind of shocked by how small that logo is.
Well, they didn't want to interfere with your art.
Yeah, which is cool.
I'm muted and I'm trying to talk. The trade dress is different. The trade dress is different too, because I got that from the trade paperback proposal trade dress. So it had volume 1 on the top there instead of the artist's name and stuff.
Yeah,
and
the
it also
placeholder
has
logo had different. Yeah. It's really interesting. But I'm so glad that, because our nightclub cover was substantially different in the way they did the trade dressing than what we were guessing it would be. Like, they really changed up the logos and stuff, and with the placement of them, they didn't put them where I was really expecting. But I'm really happy that Radiant Pink pretty much is almost identical to the way that we submitted it. Like, it pretty much is. And I have to give a huge shout out to John at Image Comics and the creative team for the Massiverse, because they didn't give us any pushback on having the logo this way. Because when I came up with the concept for this cover, that without that logo being that way, the cover doesn't work. Like, there's really no other way to do it without the logo looking that way. And I mean, for this to be a big brand for them to be that flexible with placing the logo, in such a weird way, I really appreciate that they let us do that and have the creative freedom to be weird with it. It
seems like Higgins and Co. are pretty cool.
Yeah. It's across the board, like, from when I met them to the way that they handle, these properties and these characters. I'm like, just all the way around, they just come off like such, cool people and easy to work with. It's not, because I mean, I got to imagine it would be hard when you create a character in a whole universe to not be kind of like precious about it, and they really let people kind of have some creativity and do their thing with the characters. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I love that cover.
It's so like active for me. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like, it's great. I feel like I'm almost going through like a portal with them.
That's so cool that you say that, because like, that was one thing that I was afraid of when I was coming up with the concept in general. Was I was like afraid, since it's a medium shot pulled back pretty far of characters facing the camera, I was like, oh man, is this gonna not have enough energy to it? Is it gonna come off as flat? And so yeah, I'm really glad that somehow it ended up having a lot of energy still, and it's very, it's just like you said, it's just got that like kind of energy and kick to it, even though it doesn't have a lot of crazy poses that are coming right at you and stuff like that.
So I have a question for Deegan. You've seen books like Trish Forstner's, where she does like the N60, the Nintendo game covers. Have you ever thought about doing a niche cover? Not necessarily a Nintendo game cover, but something that was definitely, there you go. There's Dark Ride.
Okay. So kind of like how, I seem like it's such a big trend nowadays that like a lot of the bigger artists kind of have their thing. It's like kind of I just noticed that iPad has slowly been slipping, so it's like slowly getting closer to me over time. But no, I noticed that like, you know, like Tyler Kirkham, he's got the Invincible cover thing where he does like three-fourths of a character on a white background, super bloody and beat up. You know, like that's kind of one of his staples. And then you've got David Nakayama who does the covers, where it's just on a solid color and it's just a character in medium camera shot matching the color of the background. You know, and like I'm trying to think of some other guys who have, I don't say gimmick in a mean way. I just mean like that's kind of the best word to describe it, is it's almost like certain artists have gimmick covers that are their thing. Oh yeah, Larry, that's a great point.
I was just thinking about the negative
yeah.
space.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so I've thought about it before, you know, like having kind of like a signature thing that's kind of like something that I'm known for compositionally.
Yeah.
But then I can't help it, and I'm not normally the kind of artist that's very snooty about artwork. You know, I'm very much a pop artist. You know, I'm very much into pop culture and being very, you know, I've never been an artist, so to speak. You know, I'm very much into just what's cool, man, you know, and
Yeah.
so for me, I just don't, I feel like it's kind of stifling creatively, you know, like as cool as some of those covers are, I'm just like, then it's well, it's just like with my Spider-Man series that I did where they're all different costumes. Even though I love that series, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been extremely successful for me and made a lot of people find me. You know, and people seem to really love that series. It's not quite as fun because I'm dealing with the same composition over and over again and just changing little things here and there. Whereas, you know, with these two covers, they are nothing like any of the other covers that I've done, and they're nothing like each other, you know, and that to me is just so much more fun and create. It keeps my brain active because I'm kind of worried. I'm like, for some of these artists that really do those niche covers, I'm like, are they going to start slowly kind of getting creatively stifled after a while? Because you rest on your laurels a little bit, you know, because you're kind
Like
of doing the
baby
same sort of
variants.
stuff.
Who's the guy that, who does the baby variants? What's this guy's name?
Scotty Young.
Scotty Young, yeah. And that's
Yeah. And I love
99 out of
Scotty
100.
Young.
It's
Yeah.
a
But
hit or
even
miss for me. It
I
really is, but
I
it's getting
I heard
tiring.
an interview with him on a podcast where he was kind of talking about how he's not burned out on it, but he's trying to branch out and do other stuff, you know, because, you know, he's like, there's only so many ways that you can draw these characters as babies and put them in funny situations. And it just kind of, you know, he wants to branch out and do different things. And so, yeah, to answer your question, I would think about it, because obviously I want to be successful, and if it's something that I could do that would get me out there more and get me known more, I'm always open to it. But I'm just afraid of getting pigeonholed, you know, as that guy. You know, I'd be afraid that if I got known for a certain type of cover, all of a sudden retailers would be reaching out to me to do exclusives, but they'd be like, and can you do the Deegan thing, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, after a while, it's like, yeah, that's great. You know, it's going to help me, you know, get money so that I can keep a roof over my head. But it would be pretty creatively stifling, you know.
I don't know if you said this because it's been so laggy, but the paychecks probably help with that stifling feeling a little bit, at least for a little while, maybe.
Yeah. I feel so. Should I drop out and join back in and see if it helps the lag?
I think it's the service.
The
that's
lag
doing
has
it.
been there.
Oh, okay.
The lag has
It's
been
not
there
just
even with
you.
the two of us for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. I just feel bad because yeah, but like you were saying, Greg, like that was something that I was mentioning was,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
it'd be nice to get the paychecks, you know, and keep a roof over my head. But it's just very creatively stifling, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want my portfolio to end up being like the same thing over and over, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's just like, you know how I'm burned out on
You
homage
want it to be more
covers,
like
man.
Prison.
Oh, dude, because that's what's crazy about Frizen is she has her thing, but what I love is her thing is her style not the cover composition. You know, that's what's really cool is like you can look at a
That's
Frizen
a good
cover
point.
and know that it's her because of the style, but it's not because it's the same. Oh yeah, it's set up like a Frizen cover. You know, like
Yeah.
I think that's a cool niche to be in. You know, or even as much as I don't enjoy Peach Momoko's style, her covers are not the same. You know, like every one of her covers is very compositionally different, you know, but it's in her style.
Some
And
are abstract, some are
yeah,
straight
much more
up.
straightforward. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
They're all
I
with the
think
watercolor look though, and they don't have much
yeah.
depth to them. Like I don't know. It,
But yeah, I'm
sometimes she'll
so
go all out and give you a background, but it looks like a lot of the ones she's doing lately, she's just really let me whip something up quick because I'm contractually obligated.
it honestly might be a deadline thing too, because she's busting out so many covers. I have to
Yeah.
imagine it at some point you got to start being judicious about how long you're taking on certain ones, you know, and how much you really put into them. Well, that's part of what was as happy as I was to get both of these covers because I was dying to do them. Part of what was hard about it was the deadline because the deadlines were only a week apart and I was going to be out of town for 2 of the 4 weeks that I had to work on them. And so it was
Yep.
terrifying because I was like, I want these covers to be like the best things that I've ever done, and I want them to be very different, but I only have so much time to work on it. So it was like this push and pull of do I cut corners and maybe do something that's not quite as crazy as I'm thinking in my brain? Or do I just push forward trying to do the coolest thing that I can do and hope for the best that, you know, it works out and I can get it done on time? And I went with the latter, and I'm glad that I did because it all worked out. But if it had become a train wreck, then we might be having a different conversation, you know. But
Well, and it was slightly confusing too because Nightclub had like 1 day sooner than Radiant Pink did relative to its
One
date,
day
right?
less. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, and I screwed myself up so bad with that because I was in my head thinking that they were exactly a week apart deadline wise.
Yeah.
And so then I screwed up the whole timeline and ended up giving my colorist a day less. But I do want to shout this out because it was so appreciated. And I'm almost afraid to shout it out because I don't want other artists to take advantage of it or anything. But when I had reached out to John with Image and kind of let him know, like, I'm so sorry, I screwed up the deadlines. I know that it's due today. Me and my colorist are going to get it to you, you know, by the end of the day. He was so gracious and emailed us back and was like, hey, it's totally cool. If you need until Wednesday, it was Monday. He was like, if you even need until Wednesday, go ahead and take the time. You know, I don't want it to hurt the quality of the cover
Yeah.
with you, you know, trying to get it done today. And I was just so appreciative of that because I'm like, with the tight deadlines that these things are on to get to print, you know,
Mhm.
because they still at that point had to send it off to the artist that does the trade dressing and everything before it goes to print, you know. So I was like, thank you so much. I was like, we ended up getting it to them on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. I was like, I'm not going to take until Wednesday. You know, I appreciate the extra 24 hours, and my colorist definitely appreciated the extra 24 hours. But I just felt bad because it was frantic, man. Like, you guys didn't see a lot of it because we weren't together. I was just group chatting with you. But that last 2 days for Nightclub, I can't remember the last time I was that stressed out because I was just literally like, my part was done, but it was like going back and forth with my colorist, you know, like looking at drafts and, okay, guys, do we like this version that's slightly different with a little bit more blue, or do we like the more green one? Okay,
Oh
let
yeah.
me relay
Yeah.
that information to him. And then there's a 5-hour time difference between me and him. So it's like, I don't know what time it is for him. And it's like, I was just like writing emails all fucking day and like just going back and forth. And then I fucked up the timeline and I had to tell my colorist, I know you'll probably want to murder me, but we have less time than I thought. How much less? Today instead of tomorrow. And it's like, and then he's rushing trying to get it done. And I'm like, couple hours later, quick note, they gave us more time. Yay. Sorry, I couldn't tell you that sooner so that you didn't start rushing and panicking. You know, so it was just like that whole day leading up to finishing it was just like, Like oh, it was intense, man. But it makes it feel
I'm
sweeter
Well,
when it's done and
picturing
it's
the
awesome.
scene
that
in,
juice
you
was
know.
worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the scene in Spaceballs. This is now. You're looking at then.
Yeah. And it was tough, man, because it's like, I'm having to think in my head. I'm like, okay, well, he said that we have until Wednesday, but it's already going to be Tuesday for James in a couple hours. So how, I'm like having to, do all this mental gymnastics with dates and stuff. But
Man,
it made it so satisfying when it was done, and it was fucking awesome. And it was like, okay, like it's
breathe.
good now. Well, yeah, we're good.
Well,
And
I think that's one of the
was he-
reasons why also that Image was willing to give you the extra time is you did reach out to them and say, I'm going to, I'm sorry, it's going to be late, rather than them going, where's the book? And them not knowing anything.
Well,
And B,
no, and
you
that's
had
the thing
delivered
is,
quality work in the past.
I think it's actually because I actually didn't say it was going to be late. I said we're going to get it to you. Like I was like, it will be done today. So I didn't even ask for more time or an extension. I was like, I'm sorry I screwed this up, but it will still get to you by the end of the day for the deadline. And I think that's part of what, gave us a little bit of leeway and a little bit of grace. Was it wasn't making excuses or saying, oh, can we have an extension? It was like, hey, I screwed up, but I'm going to make it right. And we're still going to, get it done when we're supposed to. And I think that's kind of what allowed us a little bit more, leeway on it.
So Tiago is saying that it was super nice of Deegan to put a poll on his Insta to pick which cover people like the best. No, it wasn't. Because they didn't pick the one that I liked.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Richard's just bitter because the one that he didn't like won by a fucking landslide.
Hey, when the poll started, the original it was 2-2, and it finished up like 54-4. And I'm like, where did what
Yeah,
happened to my side?
yeah.
We were.
And what's crazy is even after I put out the results, it still keeps tabulating, long after you put up the
wow.
results. So like I was able to see it for another like 5 or 6 hours, and by the end of it, I will say you did get 3 more votes for the non-distressed one. So altogether it was 6 people who voted for the non-distressed one, and a total of like 67 that voted for the distressed one.
No, when I buy something new, I want it to look new. When I go buy a new car,
But
I don't expect the guy to kick the door, kick a dent in the door saying, I give the car the distressed look.
In your guys' last live stream, when you started talking about it, and you guys ended up talking for like 20 minutes about how you like the undistressed one better, I wanted to reach through the screen and smack you two upside the head, because I was like, why are you talking down about the cover that we're trying to convince people is awesome and they should pre-order? And you guys are sitting there for 20 minutes going like, yeah, I'm not going to lie, I kind of like the undistressed one better, but it's fine. We got outvoted. And I'm just like, wow, guys, that's a vote of confidence if I've ever heard one.
Like, I don't even remember that.
Oh, God, I was sitting there just like...
No, I'm pretty sure that was more me than you, Greg. So
yeah, it was definitely more Richard. I wasn't going to... I was gonna let Timo Hannes in general kind of shoulder the weight of it, but
no,
okay. But no, like Richard, you saw the multiple printings for like Last House or Nice House on the Lake, right? Like where they were intentionally distressed.
I don't like distressed covers. I just don't like.
I just don't understand because it's not physical damage. Like it's literally like it's fake. It's not like you're gonna get the cover and there's dog-eared pages and stuff like that. Like it's still crisp and perfect. Like I guess I just have a hard time wrapping my brain around like why it's maybe it's a generational thing.
If it's all so wonderful, why is it in every book like that then? I don't like it. I like a nice, clean,
it doesn't work for every book. It has to be certain genres, and horror in general does that a lot. Like there's a lot of horror posters and horror comics and books that have that intentionally distressed style because it's very nostalgic. Like most horror posters that you find now are dog-eared and beat to shit, you know, and it's like it's the whole aesthetic. That's why so many people voted for it, because a lot of, especially people my and Greg's age, we grew up with our Goosebumps books in our back pocket that we beat the shit out of. And so we have this nostalgia for, oh yeah, like when it's beat up like that, that's a part of the look,
Charm.
you know.
I'll
for
give
it.
you an idea.
Yeah, the charm. That's a good way to put it.
I'll give you an idea how much against it I am. If I went on a trip to the Smithsonian and I got a copy of the Declaration of Independence and unrolled it and it had a distressed look, I would be pissed. I want it to look like it did in 1776.
Good Lord. Yeah. With slavery all
like
over
a distressed look.
But
Ouch.
But yeah, we'll just agree to disagree on that one. But Tiago, I'm so glad that you appreciated that I put it up, you know, for you guys to give your feedback on, because that was the big reason why I suggested doing it, was because I really wanted to make sure that it wasn't any of our biases that were going to decide the fate of this cover, that at the end of the day, even though it's our cover, we want the people who are going to be spending hard-earned money on it to like it, you know, as much as possible. So that's why we kind of, you know, put it out there to the public, because we really wanted people to have their say. And I think it's a cool thing. Like, you know, as a fan of comics, if that was done more often, I would be so into it, because I'd feel like in some small way I'm a part of the process, you know, and making it, you know, finished. And so, yeah, I think that's really cool. And I'm glad that you appreciated it. But then again, with the, I get what you're saying,
in the
Larry.
long run,
you know,
I'm
like people who collect comics get stressed about the grades. But again, it is a brand new comic with distressing fake printed on it. So it's literally impossible not to see if a comic is a 9.8 when it's fake distressed. You know, like nobody is going to pick up this nightclub cover once it's in person and be like, oh, that comic's fucked up. You know, like nobody is going to look at it and think that. Like they're going to be like, oh, that's intentionally, you know, it made to look that way, you know. So yeah, I get it. But you know, it's just the old comic book guard not wanting to let go and
you know, I'm not
move into the future.
For liking it. Don't poo-poo me for not liking it.
Oh, I'm a poo-poo all over you, Richard.
We need to take this to a different website.
Make sure
I'm gonna throw the poo-poo in the moon roof of your forklift.
It's a sunroof.
I just spit took oh my god. I am so glad.
The old man strikes again.
I am so glad that I didn't have anything important on my drawing desk. Holy shit. Oh my god. What's crazy is I literally had a commission that I finished for somebody on my drawing desk before we started the live stream, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and move that just so that it's not, you know, in the way or anything. And I'm like, holy shit, am I glad that I moved that.
You want to know what would have been really, really amazing?
Sprayed iced tea all over it.
It really would have been amazing if you did spit up iced tea on a commission and it was my commission.
Oh my god, yeah. I would have been like, Richard, this is what you get. I didn't do it on purpose, but it works out.
Yes.
Oh my god, I can't remember the last time that I did a spit take. Holy crap. I don't even remember what I was laughing at because panic immediately set in. Because I was terrified that I was gonna break my iPad. I'm like, here's where that Apple Care that I pay tons of money for every month would have had to come into play. All right, I think my workstation is dry once again. We can move forward. Holy shit, that was scary. Oh. All right, sorry guys, I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second so I can dry my screen. Oh god, what the hell? If I accidentally leave the chat, it's because I accidentally hit the leave button with my paper towel.
Did you
Or that
ever?
you shorted out your whole system.
Oh God.
Did you ever get a response from the what was it, the Radiant Black podcast?
Oh yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to go on the Radiant Black podcast. They have another podcast that's more of like a general comic book podcast, instead of just being focused on the Radiant universe. And so they figured that it would be a better idea for me to be on that one, since that way I could talk about Nightclub as well. So we're planning on setting that up, and unfortunately, all the hosts are just super, super busy up through the holidays. So we're not going to be able to record it until after the holidays. But that is going to be a thing. So what'll be cool about that is the books will have released by then, and we can kind of like, really get into it about how they turned out and everything like that. And we'll still be selling them, of course, by then. So I'm sure that'll still bring in,
We'll be sold out.
New people. Yeah, there you go, Richard. We'll be sold out.
That would be awesome.
Especially since everybody loves distressed covers.
Oh my God! All right, I think we'll all agree that this is now we've got it all out of our system. We'll never talk about it again.
So, who likes pineapple on pizzas, huh?
Oh God, that's an even worse conversation.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, no. So again, Tiago, man, I'm starting to realize that we're just diametrically opposed, Richard.
Stop it, Mom, Dad, stop.
He just keeps driving the wedge.
Opposites attract. Opposites attract.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah. So thank you, Tiago. I'm glad that you.
Do you like anchovies on pizza?
Let you guys in on it. I don't like anchovies like on anything, let alone on a beautiful pizza.
On pizza tonight, actually.
I don't think I've had an anchovy in my life.
I went and I got a Costco pizza after work and got home, and I took two cans of anchovies and cut them up into shreds and put it onto the pizza, put it into the oven, and warmed it up.
Sorry, no offense.
Literally, that entire sentence was just awful. I was like, "Are you trying to hurt me?"
No, and then I called up Mrs. Ohana. I left work. I'm like, "You feel like me picking up a pizza and putting anchovy?" She's like, "Ooh, yeah."
Hey, man, so, I'm glad you guys found each other. Like that's super cool. I think everybody should aspire to have a partner that just is on your wavelength like that. I think that's awesome.
All right, Larry is about to be on a timeout.
Make Richard's
yes.
Oh my God, Larry, you're a genius. Even with as little time as I have, it's so worth it to me. I'm just gonna make 2 of the same commission for him. I'm just gonna eat the time. I'm just gonna be like, I'll stay up until fucking 6 a.m. if I have to for a week straight. And I'll bring it to him at Syndicate and be like, Richard, I finally finished it. Here you go, man. I hope you love it. And it's just intentionally drawn to look like it's dog-eared to shit, and just see his reaction. And I'll make sure to film it.
And then after he refuses it, after he doesn't want it, I'll take it.
There you go. And then I'll give him the real one.
Why don't you go one step further and actually just take a book and draw on it and then beat the shit out of it and make it real distress, not fake distress.
Oh my God, what would be even funnier is if I took the time to do the commission, physically beat the shit out of it so it was real distressed, and then submit it fast track to CGC Yellow Label and give it to you graded at like a 0.5 because it's beat to hell. Be like, here's your commission, Richard. Thank you.
That would be like a sweet heirloom, friendship heirloom at that point.
Dude,
it'd have a story behind it.
Yeah.
Rip the cover off and put it back in, so this way it also has a yellow yellow green label, the qualified grade.
Oh man,
And then like glue to
pages or
reattach the
something.
cover and make it purple.
Larry,
Yeah.
I'm just assuming this by the way that your brain works, but are you a prankster? I feel like you're a prankster. Let me know.
He's the original prankster. Little Offspring throwback there. I apologize.
Very good. Very
I don't.
good.
Larry's
It's
in
like
the
always
Offspring.
of course, prankster.
Oh man. So anyway, we won't say the word distressed for the rest of the live stream from here on out. But yeah, so so I'm really glad that because honestly we kind of took a risk because I don't really know if we're allowed to show the artwork before it's approved. So we kind of took a risk with putting that poll up. Luckily nothing bad happened from it, but we just all kind of felt that it was really important to get people's input at that point. So we were like, let's try it.
I think it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, so it's really
I mean,
cool. But now you all have to
you said that
pre-order
we're
it because you
diametrically
said that you
opposed.
like it.
You and I were both saying, "Are we allowed to show it? It's not approved yet." And John and Cynic is like, "Yeah, sure." Go ahead. And if it's
Yeah,
not
that's
approved,
why
we'll
we
just
did
say,
it, I
sorry,
think.
it wasn't approved.
Yeah, that's what was so funny was John was like, John was the one that was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. It's like, all right, well, if John thinks it's cool, like.
And I'm sure in John's head, he's like, yeah, sure, fucking show it. It's your channel, not mine.
What were you saying, Greg?
Sorry, I was waiting for the
For a second, you were so still that I thought you were frozen. And it wasn't until you blinked that I realized you were still with us.
He does that to me all the time.
I really don't. I was waiting for the lag, and I was like holding my breath, I guess, waiting to see if it was going to change. What was I saying?
Ooh.
Oh my god!
Because we were talking about not being sure if we should post the poll, and then John said, "Screw it."
Yeah. Oh! I didn't know Richard had a commission with you. This is not related to the exclusive. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine.
I'm curious. What is this commission he's got with you? If you're allowed to say.
So I can't really talk about it because it's a lot of not safe for work content. I don't want people to judge Richard. Yeah, I feel like if I told you guys, people might think differently about him. So I'm just gonna.
You got poop going in through a moonroof of a.
Richard, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I'm wondering, does he remember?
He looked really confused. I know I was expecting you to kind of be in on the joke, but instead you like started worrying. You were like, "Wait, what did I set up?"
I know what I set up.
like you were doubting yourself there for a second, but no, it's really cool. I'm excited. It's a Kingpin, but in the same outfit from the end of Hawkeye, and that was also the same outfit from that Spider-Man miniseries, and I can't remember what the name of it was now.
In like the Hawaiian shirt and the straw hat.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's going to be really cool. And what we were doing it on a Daredevil blank, right? Because I have it in my spreadsheet, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay. Yeah. So it's going to be on a blank Daredevil cover. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
Rich with the Triple X commission.
Yes, the Vin Diesel vehicle from 2002.
That movie introduced me to Hatebreed.
Vin Diesel vehicle? Yeah, I'd drive him.
That movie was so good. They had a sequel with Ice Cube as the new Triple X.
Oh God, I don't want to get on that subject. I can talk about that, but
State of the Union.
But yeah, no.
Yes, it was. Wow.
Yeah, no. Can you imagine if Richard's commission was a Triple X Kingpin commission? Nobody wants that.
Hell yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Not right now. I would want it to be a Black Canary, if anything.
I'm like, yeah, it's a Kingpin Triple X commission, and he's just wearing the Hawaiian shirt.
No, just a straw hat.
Oh no. It's like then people would really get confused. They're like, it's just a naked bald guy. Oh man. Anyway, I don't want us to get too off track because
Spider-Man
every once
family
in a while we'll
business.
start going down these weird routes.
Oh, go
and-
ahead. There you
Oh,
go.
thank God Tiago is saving us with a statement.
Eduardo Ferragato, artist from Radiant Black, said in an interview that Image a lot of room to do what they want, and the only thing they asked to change was the background colors.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I've seen
Your
since
words. Your
since
feeling
at this point, I've only worked on Image covers, and so I've gotten to work with them. I think it's 6 times now. And yeah, I literally, in all the covers that I've done, I have never once had Image send anything back or ask us to change anything. Literally, the first time that it happened was on our Radiant Pink cover, because in the original cover, I had her in the shorts, but with no tights. It was just the shorts. And they came back and said that, the creative team was asking if we could put her in tights because since she's a high school student, they were worried about, over sexualizing her or anything like that. And, so I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I went ahead and adjusted it at the 11th hour. It was like 9 o'clock at night on the deadline. And I had to jump into Procreate and fix it because my colorist was already 2 a.m. where he is. And I was not about to send him the cover at 2 a.m. and be like, could you change something really quick? Oh my God. So I just went ahead and did it myself and sent it back to them. And they're like, okay, great. But yeah, so that was the only time that anything has ever been asked to change. And it was such a minor change, that it wasn't a big deal at all. I still take a little bit of exception to it being viewed as too sexy. Because I feel like if shorts and a crop hoodie is considered too sexy nowadays, I'm like, and I'm a prude. I am very much a prude. Like I'm kind of old school in that sense. Like I don't like super scantily clad, and you guys can see from my art, I don't over sexualize women. I make them sexy, but I don't, it's not gratuitous, so yeah, I was a little taken aback by that at first, but I'm like, I respect it. I'm gonna respect what they ask of us. So, oh, it was a two-parter.
Meanwhile,
I'm
John
sorry, I
Burns
didn't
in the
notice. I would have
background
stopped
going, "Hold my beer."
Okay, so what did he say next? Because issue 1 was the same as issue 2.
1 was the same.
And they were worried that people could see and think it's the same issue and not buy both. What was this in reference to?
That's why they had to change the background color. Changing the background color.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. We read 1 so far away that my brain totally forgot already. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, Image has been amazing. They really have.
Will getting a signed or remarked copy of Radiant Pink or Nightclub covers take extra time for delivery?
Oh, that's a really good question. So signed, no, because basically, so Radiant Pink, for example, comes out on the 7th, but we should get the shipments for the comics that Monday or at the latest that Tuesday. And basically, we've already come up with a plan where me and Richard are going to go into the shop once the orders come in and help John start processing them and separating them. And what I'm going to start doing is the second that the books come in, I'm going to start signing and remarking. So with the signatures, there will be no delay. So signed books, no delay on delivery. Those should be good to go as soon as we get them signed and packed up. So it might take a day or 2 to get them packed physically. But yeah, so those should be a pretty quick turnaround. Remarks, that is completely up in the air because it kind of just depends on how many people order remarks. So like for example on Supermassive, I think I did 35 or 36 remarks. So that did take a little bit of time because imagine 36 copies of a comic book on a table, and it's a lot more than you think it is. Like once you actually start having to draw little pictures on them, you suddenly realize like, man, 36 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like 36 is a lot. So it
Yeah.
kind of just depends, if we only get 5 or 6 remarks of each comic, that won't take me very long at all, maybe an hour, a couple hours. But yeah, if it's like 30, 40, 50, it might end up taking a few days to get them taken care of. But I'm clearing my schedule for those 2 weeks so that I can be ready to do the remarks, do the signatures, and then of course, I don't know if this is coming through super well in our advertising and on the website, so I'm just going to go ahead and shout it out on here so that we can really clarify it. But there is a third bundle option for both covers, where for Radiant Pink, there's a bundle where you can get our exclusive, which I will sign, and you get a blank copy of Radiant Black #1, where I'm going to do a full color head sketch of Radiant Pink. And actually, I'm going to send because I basically started laying out what I'm going to make the sketches look like for that cover. So I'm going to send that image to Greg really quick so that he can show you guys and give you kind of a digital example of what, if you order that bundle, what that sketch will look like on that cover.
And let's see. We're talking about this 2-book bundle, right?
Oops. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
No, go ahead. Do your thing.
The email yelled at me and was like, "You can't do that." And I was like, "What?" And then you were talking and my brain was like, "Pick one." Okay, so what were you saying? I'm sorry.
This is the bundle you're talking about, right?
Yes, yeah, that one. So that is exactly what the blank cover looks like before it's drawn on. So that is what you would get in that particular bundle, where you're going to get a hand-drawn sketch of Radiant Pink by me, which I think, from a fan perspective, is a really freaking cool option. Like, we know that it's obviously not for everybody because it is on the pricier side of things. But for me, I'm like, if Mark Bagley or somebody ever did something like this for a variant cover that they were doing, where they offered the variant and him doing a custom sketch for you on a blank, I'd be like take my money. I think that's cool as hell. So that's this one. And then for Nightclub, I think it's even cooler, because Nightclub, they're actually doing a blank Nightclub #1. And I'm going to be doing, for that bundle, I'm going to be doing a head sketch of one of the 3 main character vampires on a blank Nightclub #1. Now, I will say, you don't get to choose which of the vampires. It's going to be up to my discretion, just because it's already been kind of difficult making this many bundle options. So unfortunately, we don't have an option for you to choose which vampire, but I promise, whichever of the 3 I pick to do, it's going to be really, really cool looking. But yeah, so with those, what I was getting at, because I always sidetrack myself, is with those, that will take a little bit more processing time, because with the Radiant Pink sketches, those I will actually be able to start doing pretty much immediately. As soon as people put in orders for that bundle, I can start making those sketches now, because I already have the blank Radiant Black #1s. So I can start those immediately. So there shouldn't be any delivery. It shouldn't delay the delivery of those. It will be a little bit longer of a wait for the Nightclub ones, because those we won't physically have in hand until the day before the comic comes out. So I won't be able to start drawing them until the 13th at the earliest. So that one will take a little bit longer, but I promise that I won't try to take too long.
To elaborate on a couple of things real quick, the reason that he's using a Radiant Black to do the sketch is because Radiant Pink does not have a sketch cover, but you're getting a Radiant Black #1. You're using that as a sketch cover, which is kind of cool because you're getting that book in a #1. The second thing is, I believe that we're committing towards shipping these, at least the signed books and anything below, within 2 weeks of us receiving them all. We don't want to just get the books in on the 7th for Radiant Pink and send them out, then find out that the same people also ordered the Nightclub. we'd like to be able to consolidate and package everything very properly and send it to you as one package. So if you order something, some parts, some books that are coming out on the 7th and books that are coming out on the 14th, we want to consolidate it into one shipment and, really pack it well for you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's the way that John is committing, though. He's not going to say that the books come out on the 7th. We're not committing to mailing them all out on the 8th. I mean, what if there are delays? What if,
Yeah. And not only that, but it is going to be tough because on
printers that have delays.
Yeah, because it is going to be tough too, because on the release day of the 7th, we're having an in-store signing event to celebrate the release, and so that's going to take up that first day is pretty much going to be go hectic, people coming in the shop, me signing stuff. We're going to be doing a really cool whatnot live stream with a really awesome guy named Adriel who's going to be running it, and he is hype as fuck. This dude runs a whatnot auction like I have never seen. He is so much fun, and I am so excited to sit next to him for 6 hours that day and do a stream, because we're going to be doing cool stuff on there. I'm going to be drawing the sketch covers that people order on camera during that signing event. I'm going to be signing people's comics live so that they can see the signature happening. Like, we're going to be doing some really fun stuff on there. But I saw that we had a couple things in the chat, so I'll stop yapping so that we can get to them.
It's okay. So Tiago, going back towards his image having problems, changing and everything, he elaborated. So the only reason I'm saying that is because your cover for Radiant Pink changes the logo and stuff, and they allowed it with no complaint. No, but we did need to get special permission, not just from Image, but from the creators of the book.
Yeah. So they did. They did have to say that it
really
was cool.
Like the way that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they must have liked it, because if they didn't like it, they would have said no. So that feels pretty good that they were like, oh yeah, no, we dig that, So that's cool.
He's asking if I can show the Supermassive slab one more time. Absolutely, I'll dig that up as soon as I get caught up here. Am I the only one to see Timo Hana on a CGC label? That is so cool. Yes, I know. Seriously, I'm freaking out here. Okay, so let me find that Supermassive book real quick so I can show the remark and give people an idea of what they can expect. And the CGC yellow label is something that is possible. Also, I don't believe John has that on the website.
Yeah, I don't think we're putting it on the website as an option. Yeah.
But it is still an option. So just, if it's something that you want done, I think there might be something for special instructions, or you can contact the store with an email or something like that.
And you can just reach out.
We want to make you guys
reach out to any of us too. Like, even if you reached out to one of us individually, we can, get that set up and stuff like that. So, but Greg, did you get that email so that you can show people an example of what that Radiant Pink sketch will look like? Hopefully it came through.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, so, and again, guys, keep in mind, like, this is a digital version that I drew on my iPad, but I always do that to kind of lay out sketch covers and see if I like it. So this is just an example of what it's probably going to look like. And I'll hand draw this on a blank Radiant Black #1. So
that's super cool, man. I like that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it looks pretty cool, and I think it'll match nicely, with the exclusive itself.
It's nice too, because it's not black and white, but it's like almost black and white with just touches of color, so it blends with the sketch cover nicely.
Well, and if you zoom in a little bit, you can actually see I outlined her in an orange.
Yeah.
And it's because it actually has a really cool contrast to the pink, and there's also some orange in the exclusive cover, so it kind of ties in with that too. Because I was originally thinking of outlining her in pink, but I was like, oh, that's kind of, it won't stand out enough because there's pink in her costume, so I was like, what's a contrasting bit of a color that I could do? And this worked out really nice. It makes it pop and kind of give it like a sticker vibe, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited to start working on these because I think we already have a couple of these pre-ordered. I think a couple of people have pre-ordered this already, so I'm excited to start working on it.
Larry, he's interested in the yellow label option.
Nice. Well, I don't have any pricing info to give you because I got to talk with John again to figure out how much that all costs. But if you want to reach out, like I said, to any of us, whether it's the Team Ohana guys, me, or Syndicate directly, and you want to let us know that, hey, I pre-ordered this book or this book, and I'm interested in yellow label for them, we are 100% on board with helping you with that and facilitating it because at Syndicate, I'm able to sign a creator agreement, and anything that I sign or draw, we can submit directly and get a yellow label official on there. So yeah, we would love to do that like we did for Richard, and I think he's trying to hunt down that slab right now that has a yellow label on it.
I do too. I think it's somewhere in Marietta, Georgia, though.
Oh, okay. Hasn't gotten sent to you yet?
No.
Yeah, those took forever, man, because Supermassive came out in February, and we just started getting them I think in October. So it's I mean, I guess that's not as bad as CGC was, but it's still a long time.
Wait. Dude, look at that. Your cover is the thumbnail for Supermassive.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah, I just typed Supermassive, and the
thumbnail that's so cool.
is your book.
That's rad. That is so cool.
League likes you, apparently.
Okay.
I know. I'm like, that's really cool. I appreciate it.
Can you pull up a bigger picture of that Supermassive real quick? Because then I could use that as a comparison to show the remarked book. Cool. Yep. See, the remarked book, the letter S, I, V, and E in massive have gone away.
Yeah, buddy.
That's a remark, man.
And I'm not going to lie, that from an artistic standpoint, that book was awesome from a collector standpoint because the paper quality was nice. Like it had kind of like a gloss finish to it, and it felt, very premium. It didn't feel cheap. But as an artist, it was a goddamn nightmare because none of my pens that I normally use to draw with worked on that paper. It would not stick. The ink just basically sat on top of it and would
smear,
like never dry. And so I ended up having to I went back to like the most basic of basic things, and I had to use Sharpies. Sharpies were literally the only thing that worked on that paper. And so I actually wanted those remarks to be even more detailed than what they are, but the Sharpies just kind of limited my ability to go as nuts with it as I wanted to. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of paper Radiant Pink comes in on, because that'll kind of dictate what the remark is going to look like depending on what I can use to draw on it. But let's just say I'm looking into neon pink paint pens because I really want like bright pink in there somehow. So pens. Yeah.
As a side note, I have all my slabs in boxes, which means you get to see this view. It was really fun when I opened up the box and make sure I'm facing this the right way.
Oh, it's hard to make out. Oh, okay, yeah, Puchkors variant. That's so cool. I'll never get used to that, man. I really don't think I'll ever get used to that. That is so cool.
All I see is a sea of blue, yellow, Puchkors. There he is. Makes it so easy.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I apologize for not having this ready for this show, which I should have. Just like Mr. Greg over there had his after school and slumber ready.
Richard, with how much of a little brother hard time I give you, I don't blame you for keeping me in a box.
Well, since you're the big brother, I'm going to let you know your slumber that you signed for him was not the first copy you signed.
I clarified and I said first in person. Because, yeah. Shut up, Richard.
Like you were there when you signed my.
Shut up, Richard.
But he got you at the after school because I keep forgetting to bring the after school to the store.
I know,
Look
that's
at
so
this.
funny that
I
you
have
own
the
it
after
and I
school
haven't
here. I
signed it
keep
for you
forgetting
yet.
to bring it. It's sitting here on my desk.
Oh, they finally got. They still
Aye.
haven't put the closet on there for some reason. They finally, because they originally in my creator profile on League, they only had I think it was after school and slumber on there, and I was like, no, I've done so many more than that. Like, put all of my credits on there. And so I
Yeah.
think slowly but surely they've been adding stuff. But yeah, the closet looks like it's still missing.
Well, and you have a picture now. You didn't used to have one.
Oh, so I submitted that.
Okay, I'm
so
glad you did.
yeah, they didn't have a picture of me, so I submitted it as a user, and thankfully they approved it because I was like, man, all these fancy people with their pictures and stuff. Like, I want to be a part of the crew. God, there were so many closet covers. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
There it
Oh,
is.
there's mine. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they know it's yours. It says right there underneath the name.
Yeah, but he's not listed here in the creators.
Yeah, so that's why it doesn't pop up when you look me up on the site. And it's weird, I can't figure out a way to that's like the only thing that you can't submit. Like, they're really great about you submitting alterations to posts and stuff to make it more accurate, but there's nowhere on there that I found where you can submit like, hey, this creator isn't, credited on their profile. So but that's cool. It's the only cover missing on my creator profile, so it's not the end of the world. But
how's your Patreon doing, Deegan?
It's going okay. It kind of stalled quite a bit. Like after I think it was after the first time that I was on your guys' live stream, it was really awesome. Like, I got I think it was 5 or 6 new people that joined my Patreon, which was super, super cool. I was so thankful for you guys shouting it out on there because that really helped a lot. But then since then it's kind of like slowed down, and I had 1 or 2 people drop off. And I tried reaching out to them because one of them, it was like a payment issue, like their payment didn't go through, and so they needed to switch it. But then I just never heard from them, so I'm not sure what was going on with that. But so yeah, it's stalled out a little bit. Like, I definitely need to be better about promoting it and telling people about it on my social media and stuff. Because that, honestly, the Patreon is the biggest thing that could really help me. Basically just free up some of my schedule so that I'm not so overwhelmed with work all the time, because if I could get my Patreon into a little bit better place, I wouldn't have to do quite as many commissions at all times, because I would have a little bit more of a regular paycheck, so to speak, coming in from Patreon. But it's just a matter of like knuckling down and being better about self-promoting it, and talking about it more often. But and I feel bad because the last month was really difficult because I wasn't able to get the prints shipped out immediately, and I still need to ship them. Like, poor Greg is waiting on his Scarlet Spider prints because I haven't had a chance to ship them out and pack them up yet. But now that I'm not doing any more conventions the rest of the year, I'm able to kind of start organizing myself a little bit better and get things taken care of. So I have a big shipping day next week. I've got like Etsy orders and Patreon prints are shipping, and I've got commissions that I'm shipping. So I'm like I'm gonna be on pirateship.com for a couple hours that day, just packing and getting shipping labels made. But yeah, so the Patreon's doing okay. I'm so thankful to have the people that I have on it. It's so meaningful to me that people like you guys are being such a big part of that and helping support it. So it means a lot because the Patreon honestly is like, even though it's not a big amount of my monthly income, it's one of the most important parts of my monthly income because it just helps the most. It helps me have in a job that is so uncertain month to month. It's like a little bit of certainty, and that goes a long way. It's it's nice to be like, okay, I know that I can count on that at least, you
Mhm.
know, even if I don't have a cover this month or, you know.
And Larry, I'm not bragging, showing the prints. I'm trying to show I got these by being a member on Patreon, on his Patreon. It's the diamond, platinum, whichever is the top is diamond.
Diamond, yes,
Okay.
yeah. I
I'm in
kept
the
messing it
diamond
up.
tier on Deegan's Patreon, and I get a signed, numbered, black and white and color print every single month. And you
Yeah.
too can get this by joining his Patreon. I'm not bragging about me having it. I'm saying, hey guys, you can have this too.
Ah, screw it, Richard.
Sheesh.
Brag.
I have them and you don't.
But no, and it's really cool because they get to vote on what it's going to be for the month. I give 4 options at the beginning of the month, and and uh, um, and yeah. So like, sorry, my brain like left me for a solid second and a half. I don't know what just happened there. I had like a system reboot. But yeah, so at the beginning of the month, I put up 4 options for $10 tier and up people to vote on for what is going to be the print at the end of the month. And then the diamond tier folks get to have those prints made and shipped to them. So like, I'm really excited. Well, it's honestly kind of tough. I was going to talk to you guys. I actually need to talk to Richard specifically. Richard, I need you to be the tiebreaker for this month because you voted for what did you
Can I-
vote on between Gambit, Rogan Gambit, Spawn, and what was the 4th one?
Black Cat.
Black Cat. Did you
Can I
vote for
pull up-
Black Cat, Richard?
Can I pull up the
Probably.
picture you
yeah,
shared with all 4?
100%.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just so people have an idea of how this goes.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, so I send this out where I have like either rough examples of what the print will be. You know, and again, these are super rough. Like you can see Rogue is one of the mannequin people that I talk about where I just have her rough pose laid out. But then, you know, like
Spawn
Spawn, I
pose.
haven't even started yet, you know, so but yes, I'll throw this up and give everybody the option of which one they want to be the print at the end of the month. And the problem that I have is there's equal votes between Gambit and Spawn, and Richard voted for Black Cat, I think, because I know Richard didn't vote for one of the two. So basically, I need Richard to sacrifice his vote of what he really wants so that he can break the tie on which if it's going to be Gambit or if it's going to be Spawn. So I feel so bad, Richard, because I'm like, can you not vote for the one that you really wanted and vote for one of the other two?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
But don't worry, I
do
want to
it.
get that Black Cat done, so I have a feeling I'm going to throw that one up over the next couple months, and hopefully it'll win at some point because I really want to do that one. But oh God, I need to mention this because I feel like even my Patreon folks haven't seen it very much because it's not good at notifying people. But I made a post the other day, you know, showing off the variant covers, and a bonus that I'm doing this month is anybody who joins my Patreon this month as a diamond tier, which is the print tier. I will not only be giving you the print that wins for the month, so it's either going to be Gambit or Spawn, and it's going to be a full done, full color piece like these covers. You know, it's going to be full, awesome artwork. Not only am I going to give you those, which you get every month, but I am also going to give you a signed copy of a print of the Radiant Pink artwork and the nightclub artwork. So if you sign up this month, you're not going to just get the 2 prints, you're going to get 4 altogether in celebration and as a big thank you for everybody.
Larry says
that
he sees bronze, silver, gold, but no diamond.
It's super annoying. You have to, especially if you're on mobile, you actually have to scroll down further. Or I think there's a button that you have to click that says show more tiers or something like that. It's really unfortunate because it kind of buries it a little bit. So when people go to my Patreon, they don't immediately see all 4 tiers. It kind of hides the 4th tier, which is like the tier that's the most important.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang it, Patreon. I wish that there was a way for me to customize it a little bit more.
And Stinker Bun says he voted
Thanks, dude.
Spawn and not Distressed.
Oh my God. Don't get us started.
Oh yeah. Okay. So here you go. So when you come to
this
when
is
you
what I
come
was
to his
talking about.
when you come to his page, and at least on PC, you got to hit this, see all 4 levels.
Yes, yeah.
And
look at all the stuff you get. Like, it's not just the prints; you get everything in that list. So you get digital art files of stuff. I try to do it weekly. And then I also post updates on commissions that I'm working on, so you can see behind the scenes that I don't share anywhere else. At that diamond tier, you also get, if you're a budding artist, I also will upload basically black and white line art Photoshop files so that you can practice coloring my artwork. Or you can even take the Photoshop files into Photoshop or your favorite drawing program and just see my process, because you can see the layers that I do, and you can see like how everything is divided, and you can screw with it and draw however you want to. And so I think there's a lot of cool things, and I try to make it a good value outside of just the prints. But the prints are the thing that we always talk about, because I think that's the most special part of it, because those black and white prints that Richard was mentioning, I hand number those, and I don't ever replicate them. They are literally just for how many diamond tier members are active for that month. So like, I think for the Daredevil ones, I think it was only a 5 print run. And see, Scarlet Spider is only 5 as well. So there are literally only 5 of those prints in existence. So God willing, if I ever get bigger than I am right now, you guys will have some of the most exclusive shit that I ever made. Because these will never get reprinted this way. Oh, I forgot I did that one in red chrome. That one looks really nice.
Greg, are you diamond also?
Yeah.
Greg upgraded. He's such a sweet man. Yeah, which one did you vote for?
I'm going to give my vote. I'm going to vote for whatever Greg wanted.
Uh-oh.
Name it was Gambit. Am I right? Gambit?
You cut out, but I heard you say gay. Gambit is what I voted for.
Okay,
so I feel so bad for Stinker Buns. He was literally just in the chat saying he voted for Spawn, and now Richard's.
I'm going to switch my vote from Black Cat to Rogue and Gambit.
So, don't do that. Here, you know what? Do it.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Do it. Do it for Spawn. I'll take a Spawn. Do it for Spawn, because he wanted the clean cover and Spawn, and we'll give him one of them.
And again, I'm not gonna lie, I might throw Larry coming in clutch. He might swing the vote. Man, we're gonna start having debates about if the election's fixed.
Please, no, that's too real. I don't need that.
Can you do a Donald Trump sketch?
No, please don't do that.
I would never waste my time on something I hate
with him,
so
like
deeply.
Smacking Nancy Pelosi.
Oh Jesus!
No. Not the time.
Yeah, let's leave that for the political podcast. I try to stay as far out of politics as possible, because I feel like when you're in a creative field, I don't ever want to alienate anybody, and I don't want anybody to ever feel like they can't be a fan of mine because we disagree on something. So I honestly try to stay out of it as much as I can publicly. Like, I'll talk to people in private and things like that, but for the most part, I'm just like, other than Donald Trump, I think he's a miserable human being. That's the only thing that I'm willing to publicly admit, is I think he's a garbage person. That's all that
How about this one though?
Trump and Biden kissing. Oh my God, I don't think I can think of anything more horrifying, Larry. That has to be that would be a great horror comic. That has to be one of the scariest images.
You think of the Celestials and Molecule Man and the Beyonder. Nothing is more unbelievable than the state of politics right now. Okay. Comic books
I know that is very true. If you told somebody, if you told somebody 20 years ago what's going on nowadays, they'd be like, is this a book you read? Is this fiction? But anyways, so what I was gonna say, Greg, to make you feel a little bit better if you do end up voting for Spawn or whatever, is I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna throw Gambit into either next month's vote or the month after, because I really want to do Gambit. And I don't want to like sway anybody's decision because I always want people to vote for what they want. But sometimes when I really want to do one, I'll just keep kind of like popping it in the
of course.
the vote and hope that eventually it
Power
gets
suggestion.
chosen. So and then since I was behind, since I was so busy last month doing so many conventions and then the covers that had deadlines, the October prints got delayed a little bit, so we just started doing the poll for those. And the October prints were Invincible in his blue and black costume, Thor, um, Immortal Hulk, and Slumber. So that one was a little bit different. Those had to be prints that I've already finished, that have already been completed because I just didn't have enough time last month to make a brand new one. But so I threw up those options, and I think Thor won that one. I think
3-1-1-0 for Thor, Invincible, Hulk, and Slumber.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about that one because I love that Thor print, and it doesn't get enough love. Like at conventions, I don't sell it very often. So I was really happy to see that you guys in the Patreon like that Thor print so much. So again, the color versions of the prints end up being prints that I sell at conventions and stuff like that. But the black and white ones are strictly exclusive. So like I'm going to do this black and white version of the Thor print for Patreon members, and it's going to be hand numbered and the only time that it's ever released. So the only way to get the black and white Thor print is to be a part of the Patreon. So what did Tiago say? You should do a Skype call and the members must do a presentation about which print they want and why. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. And you have to bring like a PowerPoint. This is why I chose this month Spawn. I feel that he is a superior. In this next slide, you will see a graph of my enjoyment of.
I like Spawn. He is cool. I want to be Spawn. Thank you.
You literally just sounded like me in like 6th grade when I was reading Spawn. Like that was pretty much my mindset. Was like, I like Spawn. He's real cool looking. I have no fucking clue what's going on in the story, but he is really cool looking.
But he's cool.
Stinker Bun said,
I like Carnage. He doesn't have teeth.
he said that Thor print is what drew him to your table at C2E2.
Oh, that's so cool. I know, and we had an awesome conversation because of that. He told me about how he loves Beta Ray Bill. And we talked about hopefully because my goal right now is since I'm not doing conventions for the next 2-3 months, my goal is to get my commission list completed. I want to by the end of December have all of my commissions that have been booked done and sent to everybody, and I can start fresh at the beginning of the year and reopen my commission list and wipe the slate clean and do it all over again. So hopefully at that point, me and him can talk about doing a Beta Ray Bill commission for him, because I would love to do that. I have never gotten to draw him before, so that would be super freaking cool.
That DWJ Beta Ray Bill was astounding.
Is DWJ an artist?
Must be Daniel Warren Johnson. Oh yeah, it is Daniel Warren Johnson. He did a run of Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, okay. I bet when you pull up the cover, I bet I've looked at it. I know, Greg. I'm like, damn, you thought of that fast. Oh, and Tiago, Deegan, who does the colors on the prints? Is it you or your colorist, or it depends? So that is a fantastic question, actually. So I always commission my colorists, whether it's Gat Melvin or James Affretti, to do the colors on the Patreon prints, because again, like I've said in the past, I think I'm perfectly serviceable as a colorist. I don't think I'm terrible by any means, but James and Gat, just they know their their medium. You know, like these guys are capital P professional colorists, and they just kill it, you know, on the pieces that they do for me. So I always want the diamond tier prints to be as premium as possible. And I just feel like if I colored them, they wouldn't be as great as they could be having my colorists do them. Now, it does make things a little bit tricky because pulling the curtain back a little bit and showing you the Wizard of Oz a little bit is what makes that tough is I have to pay the commission to my colorists. So it makes it kind of difficult financially because that greatly eats into the funds that I'm making through Patreon. But the way that I am is I've always been willing to sacrifice income for cool. You know, like I always want my artwork to be the best that it possibly can be. And if that means sacrificing some of my money to put into paying these awesome colorists to make them as badass as possible, then that's what I'm willing to do. I mean, for God's sakes, you pull up that Thor print and you look at what James did, you know, on that, or you look at what James did on the Radiant Pink and the nightclub covers, and I think you can see straight away why I love, you know, working with him. You know, again, I don't think colorists get nearly enough credit for what they do, because you look at that cover and what he did with the lightning and what he did with the reflections in, you know, the satiny material on his black, you know, costume, and you know, like all these little bells and whistles just make that print sing, you know. So yeah, to answer your question again, long-winded because I'm always long-winded. It's it's my two colorists that I work with. And for example, the Scarlet Spider print that Richard was showing, that was colored by my other colorist, Gat Melvin. And he's phenomenal as well, and he has a totally different style than James. So it's really cool. I kind of look at the individual projects and see who I think would fit the best. So yeah, there you go. That print. I'm really happy with how that Scarlet Spider print turned out. I think it's really, really cool. The reds really pop really nicely.
Where did you meet these
So
colorists? How did you hook up with them?
yeah, so when I a few years ago when I first started doing this full time, and I kind of came to the decision that I wasn't going to color my own stuff anymore, because it was honestly kind of an economic thing. It was like I can get more work accomplished when I'm not doing all three facets of the creative process. You know, it's like, okay, I came to the determination that I'm going to focus on my pencils and my inking, and you know, I'm going to really focus on those two things because I think those are my strong points, you know, is the drawing portion of it. And I'm going to hand it off to somebody who's great at what they do to do the colors. And when I started deciding that that's what I was going to do, I started searching all over Instagram for colorists, or I would see other artists that I love and they would always credit who colored it in their posts. So if I
Mm.
saw a piece from an artist that I love and I loved the colors, I would go and check out their profile and be like, okay, you know what? Let me look at some of their work, and that's how I originally found Gat Melvin a few years ago. Was I can't remember the artist now, but it was an artist that I follow who worked with him. And I was like, man, I really dig that, and that's how I found him. And then the same thing happened with James Afredi this year, where I was looking at the current run of GI Joe comics, and there was a couple covers that I loved, and I was like, man, those colors are super vibrant, and you know, like my style that I like. And so I looked him up, and that's how I found him. So it's basically just been searching through social media and kind of looking in the creative credits of who did the colors and stuff, and then reaching out to them. And thankfully, I am 2 for 2. Like I've only reached out to 2 colorists, and they're both like the nicest and most amazingly talented people ever. So I've been really lucky in that respect. I didn't have to like try a bunch of different people and it didn't work out, or it didn't, you know, because it's a very symbiotic relationship. Like if your colorist doesn't, you know, like there are colorists that I see that are phenomenal, but I don't think they would work with my style, you know, like because I have a very specific style where if you had like, for example, you know, like on Something is Killing the Children, for example, that artwork is very rough and very, you know, scratchy, and you know, it's got a lot of like dry inking to it, you know, and it gives it a very like rough vibe. my art style is not rough. I'm very clean. I'm very precise. I'm very like overly pristine about it. And so the colorist who colors Something Is Killing the Children, even though it's phenomenal, I don't think that coloring style would necessarily fit well with my line work, so it's interesting. Oh, and Callie, yes, phenomenal is the best word to describe those colors. Yeah, 100%. I adore the two guys that I work with, and that's why I always shout them out as many times as I can, because I think they deserve all the credit in the world for what they do. Sorry, I think I killed Richard.
No,
I'm trying to find. I lost. I can't get back to your page on Patreon. Oh, it's showing my page, and it won't let me see your page.
There's a question from Sticker Buns. Do you have any 2023 plans?
Yeah, so I do have a few things already booked and ready to go. It's not many yet because a lot of the shows haven't started booking yet. My biggest one, which was the first one that the second that they emailed me that applications were going live, I applied immediately, and that was for C2E2 because I fucking adored C2E2 this year, and there was no way in hell that I was going to chance missing that. So the second that email came through, I was like, bam, filled out and submitted. And now I'm just waiting because they just because you did C2E2 with them before doesn't guarantee that you will get approved if you reapply. So they go through a whole curation process where they go through everybody's application and deny or accept it. So they're supposedly supposed to start letting people know if they got accepted the first week of December. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope, guys, keep me in your prayers and cross your fingers for me that I get approved for C2E2 because I'm dying to do that one. And that's where I met Stinker Buns. So hopefully I can do that one again. And if you were planning to go to that show, the other one that I have booked, and I'm pretty sure it's a done deal at this point, is Lexington Comic and Toy Convention in Lexington, Kentucky. That one was awesome last year. I had never done that one before, and that one's in March. And I did that one last year, and it was incredible. Like, it was one of the best shows that I did last year. Like, some of the nicest people in the world were in Lexington. Like, it was such a wonderful time. I got to do a lot of sketches for kids. It was a big show where a lot of people brought their kids and they were into art, and so I was able to do a lot of sketches for kids, and make their day and stuff. So that was a really special show. So I already got that one booked. I think, oh God, I don't know if I'm allowed. I think I'm pretty much a done deal for Heroes Con again. I think I can say that. I hope I don't get in trouble, but I think I can say that I'm good to go for Heroes Con. And I just won't explain how that happened, and I think that'll keep me from getting in trouble. But so Lexington,
and that's
in
when
March.
And where?
Oh yeah, so that would probably be smart. I already got them all on my calendar. So we've got Lexington is March 23rd through the 26th. So that's a 4-day show, which is kind of rare. There's not a lot of 4-day shows out there. But what's cool about that one is it's big, but it's not like MegaCon big, so it's not a pain in the ass 4-day show. It's very, it's very pleasurable and nice. So that one is March 23rd through the 26th. And then we've got, again, hopefully C2E2 is March 31st through April 2nd. And then when is Heroes Con? And then Heroes Con
June 16th
is
to
June
18th.
There you go. Richard beat me. Yeah. So those are the
Even with
three
the
that I
lag.
have. Yeah. So those are the three that I have for sure right now. I'm also hoping to do Atlanta Comic-Con in I think that one's February, if I'm not mistaken.
And Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. But yeah, so then I'm also going to apply for Atlanta. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little I'm a little bummed out because with Atlanta, I actually reached out to them and asked about being a guest artist. Since I've started to do enough published work where I feel like I can start reaching out about stuff like that, and they just flat out didn't respond to me. So it's
Oh, wow.
looking like I'm just gonna have to apply manually to Atlanta because there's no way that one of the few shows that are in my backyard I'm not gonna do. I'm like,
Atlanta,
if I can not go out of town for a change, that would be really nice. So,
Atlanta Comic Convention is February 24th to the 26th.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
And did you get a chance to look into doing the Cartersville small in comparison to what we were
no,
talking
I
about?
haven't gotten a chance to apply for that one yet. I need to remember to do that. I keep forgetting, and that's going to bite me in the ass.
That's
So
next
yeah, I need to.
October, and that might I would check dates. That
Okay.
might be interfering with some of your bigger conventions. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The only big one that I think I do is Baltimore in October. So as long as it doesn't fall on the same weekend as Baltimore,
well,
because I
you
would
did say
definitely
you
like to
wanted
do
to do
Baltimore
Rhode
again.
Island this year, right?
God damn it, Richard. you're gonna write checks my ass can't cash. um, I would love to do Rhode Island, but
I think
maybe
that
if
actually would be cool, man.
they could have me as a guest so that I didn't have to put out quite so much money to get out there as well as pay for the table, then it'd be more
to
realistic for me. But
to give you an update on your poll right now, there
Mhm.
are 2 votes for Gambit and 4 votes for Spawn.
Oh shoot, Spawn has pulled ahead. Did you change your vote, Greg? Or did you
I
leave
thought
your
about it,
vote?
but no.
Oh, okay, dang. So
No,
yeah, that one pulled ahead.
two plus 4 equals 6. Larry joined. You now have 6.
That's so awesome, Larry. Oh my God, you're the best. I really
I mean,
appreciate
I'm
that. I
assuming
hope
it's
that I
Larry. He
didn't.
said he was joining, and now there's an extra vote. So,
Yeah, well, here
yep,
I
there you
probably
go.
can just look and see. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Larry. Seriously, I hope I didn't make you like feel bad for me, and that's why you did it. But I really appreciate it. It
Oh
really
wow,
means
he
a
put
lot.
that all the way up there right before Trump and Biden. I was so locked into Trump and Biden kissing, I didn't even see that he voted for Spawn.
That is so cool, Larry. Well, I welcome to the community, and I really hope that you dig it and that you enjoy being a part of it. And honestly, the more that it keeps growing, one of my goals is the more people that join, I want to make a Discord for it, so that we can have like a separate community for just everybody that's in the Patreon. So that way I can interface with you guys more directly, as opposed to making posts and then hoping that you see them and hoping that you comment on them. That way it can be more of like a direct line to talking to everybody. So that's something that I'm definitely looking into as well.
I'm just thinking, like, 10 years from now, when there's like 2,000 Diamond members, I'll be like, I was there when there was only 5 of us.
I know, and I'll always remember you for that. That's the thing, is everybody that's a Diamond member right now, I honest to God don't think I'll ever forget them, because it's such a big impact, and it's such a big deal for me. So um but is there another question? I think I saw another
Oh yeah,
question.
Deegan, you've been talking about the nicest people, but what about the toxic ones? Have you had a toxic rude interaction already?
Besides me on this
Yes.
show.
No, but that's all in fun. We
Okay,
screw
good.
with each other. That's all in
We like
fun.
to have fun here.
Uh, so I would love to answer that question,
Yeah.
but I kind of, and I'm a hypocrite because I'm not always like this, but I think that that's with anything. We always try to be the best version of ourselves, and it doesn't always work out that way. So if somewhere down the road I am hypocritic about this, you can call me on it, but I'm prefacing this as I try my best. But I kind of don't want to answer that question because I
Yeah.
feel like there's so much negativity on the internet as it is, that I try to lean towards being positive, because dude, there's some people I could call out right now. I'm telling you right now, like, I got stories, but I just don't feel like that's necessarily going to help in any way. Like, I don't think naming them by name is going to necessarily, make a positive impact in any way. I wouldn't mind telling a story and leaving names out, and just giving you the situation that happened. That's something that I'd be willing to do, but I don't want to like call anybody out by name because again, it could have just been a bad day, and I always give people the benefit of the doubt in that respect because it's like, when I was working in retail for years, I liked to pride myself on being a very gracious person and welcoming when people would come into my store. But, every once in a while we would have a bad day and something bad would happen in our life and that would come through in our work life, and we might have a bad interaction with somebody. And if that's their only interaction with you ever, then in their mind you were a dick. But in reality it was just a bad moment, so I try to give people the benefit of the doubt in that respect too. If I had a bad interaction with somebody, I'm hoping maybe naively that it was just a bad moment, or they wouldn't be like that normally. But like there have been a couple times when I've met artists that I really look up to at conventions when I'm tabling at a convention, and I'll take a minute to step away and go meet, some of these people that I really look up to. And there's been a couple times, like we were talking about in the beginning of the stream with handlers, and guy art reps. It wasn't so much the artist, it was the art rep. Because I literally walked up to a table that up until that point, the whole weekend was just smashed with people, just lines of people. And so I kept having to leave and come back because I had to watch my table. Well, finally, at one point, the table was empty. There was nobody in line and the artist was there and he was working on commissions. But I was like, I'll just pop up and just, say a couple things. I'm going to try not to bother him too much because, I do this too. And I understand how stressful it is to have commissions due by the end of the weekend. But so I stepped up and, he kind of had his head down and was really working. So I understood he didn't really recognize I was there. And that's what his rep is there for. And I'm standing there and I'm standing there and I'm standing there. And I'm the kind of person where like, if somebody messes up my food at a restaurant, I say nothing, cause I'm like, it's fine. I'll just pick everything off. I'll fix it, cause I just don't like so I'm like standing there and I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that's like, or something like that. I'm just like, they'll see me, right? At some point I'm standing right in front of this guy. Like he'll acknowledge me in some way, shape or form. Right. And I'm just waiting. And finally the guy looks up from doing literally nothing, the art rep. And, he's just like dicking around, like looking on his phone and, and I'm just like, finally he acknowledges that I'm standing there. And he's like, oh, hey. And I'm like, hey, I was just here to say hi. And, you're and finally the artist acknowledged me and was like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, it's going good. I just really wanted to stop by and tell you how much I love your work. And, it's a really big influence on me. And, he was fine. Like, again, he was busy and he was just like, oh, I really appreciate that, and went back to what he was doing. But the art rep is just like side-eyeing me the whole time and kind of making me feel like, stop talking to him, or like leave him alone. He's got money to put in my pocket, because that's what these art reps are. Like they get a cut of all these commissions and stuff. And so I'm just like, I was just getting this vibe from this guy, like, let him get back to work so that we can make money, fanboy. And like that, it was just such a strong, like, can you just move on and like do what you came here to do? And so finally he was like, so what did you want? And I'm like, oh, I was hoping to have him sign, these. And he's like, okay, can you take them out? And, like, let's go. I'm just like taken aback by it. And I'm like, man, you are lucky I'm not the same person that I was when I was in my 20s. Because if you threw that attitude at me when I was in my 20s, I would have been like, listen, motherfucker, if you want, to go right now, like, let's do it. Like, you don't have to be a dick, when I'm just literally being a fan and contributing financially to both of you, like, and he just rushed me through and made me feel like shit. And basically like, it felt like he was cracking the whip on this artist, that was there. And so it was just like a really gross and shitty interaction. And I was really bummed out afterwards, because I could tell that the artist wanted to talk to me more, but it's almost like he held back, because
Yeah.
he felt like he was gonna get a stern talking to or something, and I'm just like, aren't you his boss?
Yeah.
By his
Like
employee. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just like, so yeah, again,
I'm sorry, I
if
gotta.
I was willing to name names, the group that represented this artist is a group that, if I ever am lucky enough to get bigger in the industry, um, they lost a possible client in me, because there's no way in hell I want people like that representing me. Like, period. I would rather, even if I get bigger, I'm already overwhelmed like crazy and I'm a small artist. Even if I get to the point where I'm so overwhelmed that I desperately need to sign with a company to help me, I'd rather drown than sign with a company like that, because I never want anybody that comes up to my table to feel uh, like they're putting us out, or they're being a burden, or anything like that. I'm like, for God's sakes, if somebody is a fan of my art and willing to spend money on what I do, like, the least that you owe someone like that is your undivided attention and appreciation. Like, so that's my little toxic story. Luckily, those stories are few and far between for me. It's been much more positive than it's ever been negative. So
Was that handler hired by the company that the artist worked for, or by the artist himself?
So from what I have seen after the fact, the art rep is like one of the top people at that agency. So he's like one of the big guys at that agency. So he kind of runs things at that agency. And so that's what kind of surprised me even more after the fact, was I was like, you would think that the guys that are higher up would have much more of a high standard of, you know, that was another thing I forgot to mention that really bothered me about it, was he was literally like kind of gloating about how many exclusives they got for artists to sign at the convention. Like, they were, how at every convention there's con exclusives
Yeah.
and
Oh
they're
yeah.
hot books at the con, and he was literally like flipping through a stack like this big of books that were exclusive to that con, and that he was talking about he needs to get X, Y, and Z to sign them. And so that just put me off as well, because I'm just like, oh, so you guys are one of these groups that have the ins with some of these exclusives, and you're getting your copies, before anybody else has a chance at them. And then on top of it, you're having the artist that you represent sign them, and then you're going to turn around and sell them for a ridiculous profit. So just like from the get-go, it just felt like so gross to me. And I really hope, because again, you never know until you're in a situation, but I really feel like I'm going to be able to stick to my guns in my career, because I've just never been the kind of person to change because of financial reasons or, opportunities. I would rather lose out on opportunities and stay true to who I am than take opportunities because it'll make me more money, and sell my soul basically. And so I'm like, I really hope that the further that I get, I'm going to stick to my guns on this stuff. And, like exclusives, for example, if there's ever, like, how J. Scott Campbell has his own exclusives for his shop, if I was ever to get to that kind of a level where I have DeeganPuchkors.com exclusives,
Mhm.
you can bet your ass that I would try to implement every single thing in the book. And I know there's no way to do it completely, but I would try to do everything in my power to make sure that fans are the ones getting the books, as opposed to resellers and scalpers and industry people. Like, and I know it's hard to do that, but I would at least try my best to implement as much, make it as much of a pain in the ass as possible for people like that to get their hands on them. Um, so
I'll pledge right now that if you do something like that, I'll buy 5 of them and I'll give them away on the channel.
there you go.
Well, let me rephrase that. I'll buy 6 and I'll give away 5. I got to keep 1 for myself.
Yeah, you gotta give yourself a pat on the back every once in a while, you know.
No, I just got to increase my Puchkors collection.
Oh, there you go.
Tiago said, surprising for me, 20s Deegan. Obviously, I don't know you, but from the streams and live streams and what people say when they meet you, I would totally go in for a hug when I meet you. But that's the Brazilian side coming out. I know Americans aren't like that.
Dude, honestly, and I hope I'm not getting myself into trouble. I was gonna say I hope I'm not getting myself into awkward situations in the future by saying this, but like I am totally a hugger, and like you know, if you did come up to me and you were like, dude, it's so cool to meet you, like, can I get a hug? I'm all about it, man. Like as long as it's not some new strain of COVID that's killing us all, I'm all about it. Like I'm down for hugs. I'm down for handshakes. If you want to take pictures, if like seriously anything, like I am definitely proud to say that I'm not the same person that I was 10 or 15 years ago. You know, I'm much more even keeled, and honestly it kind of blows my mind because my biggest problem when I was younger was always that I didn't have patience and I had a really short temper, and I really worked hard to change that about myself. And now everybody that you ask that knows me very well is like, you're like the most even keel, like never gets super up and down person that I know, you know, and I have a ton of patience. Like I have an ungodly amount of patience. It's really weird. Like sometimes people are like, okay, this is kind of creepy. Like how you're just not bothered, you know, right now when everybody else is ripping their hair out or something. So but yeah, no, so yeah, if we ever get a chance to meet at a show or something, that'd be so rad if I ever got to go to Brazil and do a show. Please feel free to come up and ask for a hug or a handshake or a picture or whatever. I'm super down for that. I'm a hugger, like Richard said. I'm a hugger. I'm very comfortable with my my manliness. I don't think hugging or crying is a bad thing. Should I cry at least once a week if I'm being honest?
Mrs. Ohana passed me a package of tissues during the Wakanda Forever movie. So,
Oh Jesus, right? God Almighty, I cried like 2 or 3 times in that movie. Good Lord.
Yeah, we can't talk spoilers yet about that, but
yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, the opening Marvel scene they did like they did with Stan Lee, where it was just instead of all the different things from all the different movies, it was just Chadwick Boseman playing T'Challa, and no music, just the sound of wind. In my theater, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, dude, it wrecked me too. I'm like sitting there trying not to start blubbering because I don't want to break the silence, you know, and be like that guy. But yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, Tiago, too, because that makes me feel better. It means that I'm doing something right and I'm a better person than I used to be. I'm glad that people think of me that way.
Still need you to come up here, Tiago. So get working on that.
Yep. Remember, Larry's got that space for you in his house.
I wasn't going to say that. I don't know if Larry's like, Jesus, stop saying that.
No. It's now part of the internet, man, and we have documented proof.
We'll make a shirt out of it. Larry's room or something like that.
So yeah, we still have to make a shirt for Live from Georgia.
Yes.
Which I still love that.
Wait, what? What is it?
He's in Virginia. I'm in Georgia. And one of his friends said, Live from Georgia. It's Team Ohana.
Oh man, until you explained that it was Virginia, I was like, wait, what? My mind was in the gutter, bro.
Shirt,
like I was like, are we combining Georgia and vagina? Like, what is happening right now?
No, just Virgin in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been to Georgia?
That makes so much more sense.
There are no virgins.
Oh shit. Anyway, my God. By the way, just a side note, who lives in Virginia?
Greg.
Oh shit, you live in Virginia. What city do you live in Virginia?
Chantilly is the biggest town near me.
Okay.
I'm by Dulles Airport.
I wish that I could remember where it was, like what cities or towns it was near, But and I don't mean to sound hyperbolic about this, but when I was driving up to Baltimore,
Yeah.
there was a stretch of road for like 30, 40 minutes. I think on highway, I want to say it was 81. Does that
Yeah.
sound right? And I was on 81 and there
81
was a
goes up
stretch of road.
the west side of the state.
Okay. So, man, like I was driving on that stretch of road for like 30, 40 minutes and it was just nothing but trees on both sides. And they perfectly were like arching over the road for like
Oh.
30 or 40 minutes. And it was the most gorgeous. I'm a sucker for fall. Like fall is my favorite time of year with the leaves changing. And
Yeah.
it was like 1 p.m, sunshine, yellow, gold, and beautiful colored trees for like 30 minutes straight on a 2-lane highway. And there was
Yeah.
barely anybody around me. And I'm not joking. I had like a religious experience on that drive. Like I was like because I had never thought about Virginia in my life. Like really, it was never a place that I ever thought about. Like, oh, I got to visit Virginia. And like when I was on that stretch of road, that made me want to make a trip for nothing else other than to go to wherever that place was and just be there for a while. Like I honestly legit, there was one point where there was like a median of like a dirt median that you could kind of pull off and you could just kind of chill there. And
Yeah.
I legitimately thought about just stopping and just like sitting outside my car and just like taking it in because it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Scenic overlook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was it was so scenic, man. It was fucking gorgeous.
They have it's called Skyline Drive, and it's it kind of goes. Richard probably knows it as a motorcycle rider. They love doing that ride. But it's beautiful in the fall, and it's sort of up and down in the mountains, and they have scenic overlooks to look out over the valley.
Oh crap! I'm gonna have to make an intentional trip to do that drive.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm a sucker for that stuff, man. Like I was so wanting to just pull off somewhere and pull out my iPad and start drawing in that area that I was in because it was just like and again I'm talking about crying. Like I cried, but it was like a happy cry.
Hell yeah.
Because I was just like soaking in. I was like, man, I'm
moved.
so thankful for right now. I'm thankful for where I'm at in my life, and I'm thankful for the people in my life. And it just kind of like it was one of those moments, and then I got to DC and that promptly hit a wall and I lost all that feeling because DC was miserable to drive through. Holy shit.
Did you drive through the city?
Kind
Democrats,
of. It was like just past it. And it was just the worst traffic that I dealt with that entire 8.5-hour drive. It was brutal.
Thank God I'm able to work from home these days with this new job because I spent 10 hours a week commuting and it's not like it was far. It was just traffic.
Yeah.
So
that's
at least if
that's
you're moving,
what's life sucking. Like it literally sucks the life out of you because if it's not far and you're just like, if there wasn't this traffic, I would be there by now. It's
just
so
sit there
infuriating. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
But what did Larry say?
You should go to the Shenandoahs in the fall, which is Skyline Drive, kind of what we were talking about.
Oh, okay. Is that in Virginia? Shenandoah. Because I actually have heard that.
It's the stretch of mountains that's part of the whole Appalachian chain. That's in Virginia.
Okay.
It's just like the little section of it.
Oh man, I'm all about that. Yeah, like after seeing that stretch, I was like, I want to explore this state more. Like it really blew my mind because I love Georgia in the fall too, but this was like another level, man. Like
Virginia's interesting. It's like it's like two states almost. There's like Northern Virginia where I am, and it's very suburban up to urban and leads up to DC, and then like there's just like the rest of Virginia, which is almost like another state.
That was what I was kind of taken aback by was like there was like 3 or 4 times just in Virginia where I was like this looks like I'm in a whole different state. Like it was so drastically different, because like at one point, I don't remember where I was, but it was very like industrial. Like it looked like a lot of like industrial buildings are kind of like more gritty and like almost like an old school town that used to be all about a factory or something, and now that's kind of gone away, and it's like it had that kind of vibe, and then DC had a vibe of like yuck, and then oh, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to be negative. One of my biggest things though is when I go to conventions, especially in cities that I've never been to, I love finding good food. Like it's one of my favorite things. I love, when the convention day is over, before I head back to the hotel, I find some hole in the wall, not chain restaurant that's just in that city, and go and eat food. And I do have to say, Baltimore, you need to step your fucking shit up, because that was some of the lamest food I have ever had this year. Like, so disappointing. I was like, man, like these restaurants are just not hitting, and yeah, it was a bummer. I was sad. The fat kid in me was just like,
Northern Virginia would have been good for that. We have like every culture living here, so there's a lot of those.
It's like a melting pot of different food. Yeah, that's cool.
You can get Vietnamese, Indian, Ethiopian, or whatever you want. So,
well, yeah, because man, I tell you, it's Chicago is a hard one to beat. Like when I went to Chicago, man, they had a little bit of everything. Like it was, really good bar pub American style food, which I'm a sucker for. Like good sandwiches, good burgers, like stuff like that. Kind of a basic bitch, sort of thing. But then they obviously have the great deep dish pizza, which is fun once a year. Like I would never have deep dish more than once a year, but it's like that one time. I'll never forget. Me and Christian were like, dude, we got to get some deep dish pizza while we're here in Chicago. And luckily there was a really highly recommended place around the corner. So we went and ordered it. And they're like, this is going to take about 40 minutes. And we were like, oh shit. So we like walked around the area and then came back, and they hand us this pizza, and the box is only like this big, right? But they hand it to you and you're like, oh shit, like it weighs like 27 pounds. And you're just like, what is did you just hand me a box of bricks, or is there food in here? And we get back to the hotel and we're thinking like, oh yeah, we'll probably eat, like a couple pieces each. And by the end of one slice, we both were like, dude, don't tell anybody, but I'm fucking tapping out, man. Like, I was so full. It was insane, but it was delicious. And I'm like, this is like pizza lasagna. Like this shit is so thick. And we were dumb and didn't have plates.
Like that.
So all we had was a pizza box, no plates, and we're trying to eat deep dish, which is like the messiest pizza on the planet. So it was just us like anxiously trying to scarf down this deep dish pizza with no plates, getting it all over the bed and shit. It was hilarious.
I respect Chicago. I'm from New York, but the best pizza I ever had was a deep dish. It was like this damn thick.
Really?
And it was like one slice and it filled you up, and it was from Baltimore.
Of course. Because it would come back.
It was
that quickly
30 years ago. I don't know if the place is still open.
It's so funny because
the place is still open.
I'm a massive New York style pizza fan. Like New York style pizza is my fucking jam. I'm a super massive New York pizza fan. And so like I try to hunt down the best New York style pizza like everywhere that I go. Like pretty much every convention I go to at least one pizza place, because I'm trying to find like the holy grail of New York pizza. And I haven't gotten to go to the East Coast very much, like actually in New York or Connecticut, because I hear that Connecticut has really great pizza, like that's right up there with New York. Like a lot of the pizza reviews that I see, that's like the fattest thing I ever said in my life. But a lot of the pizza reviews that I see are very high on Connecticut pizza, New York style pizza. So. Well, shit, yeah. One of the only good things about staying in the casino for Terrificon in Connecticut one of the only positives was that they had a pizza place in there, and it was some of the best New York style pizza I've ever eaten. Other than that, like the Terrificon experience was not great.
Not terrific.
yeah, Terrificon was not terrific for me.
The mediocre con that I went to, yeah.
yeah, more like
I was actually on another tab looking at the top restaurants in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I could prepare for us in June when we all get together.
Whoa!
Oh, dude, I'm telling you too, like, because I've been to Charlotte a lot. You know, I think the last 7 years straight, I've gone to Heroes Con whether I'm tabling or not, and I've got some fucking restaurants that we are gonna go to, man. Like, yeah, like if we all get to go like we're planning, yeah, like there's at least one or two that is a no questions, don't argue with me, we're going here, like sort of thing. And one of them is barbecue, which is surprising because, you know, in the South, there's a lot of barbecue, you know, so it's kind of a, you know, everybody feels like they've had good barbecue in the South, but this place is top notch. Like
Kakalaki barbecue.
What's that? The Midwood Smokehouse?
It's called I think it's Max Speed Shop. Okay. And it's like a biker themed place, you know, it's like a bar and a restaurant, and it's just got a really cool vibe. Yeah, super cool vibe, really loud atmosphere, you know, it's like really bustling in there, but it's a super fun place, and it's really close to the convention center. You know, so it's a short drive, and no, it's not
I'm gonna go to a biker bar with for barbecue. So listen, a barbecue biker bar place and say, I don't eat meat.
Oh God, but they have like really good hush puppies, and like their baked beans are my favorite baked beans on the planet. Like, I mean, so good. Some of the best mac and cheese ever too.
So I like, I eat,
No, yeah, I said biker bar, but it's just kind of themed that way. There's not like a lot of bikers there. You know, it's not like one of those places where you pull up and you're like, oh shit, like this is, you know, like Hell's Angels territory. It's mostly just a lot of like, it's mostly just a lot of what's the word for it? Yuppie white people.
Accoutrement on the walls.
It's a lot of yuppie white people that go there from the gentrified downtown of Charlotte. Yeah. You know, so it's definitely not who you would expect to be at a place like that. It's kind of funny. But yeah, no, I'm so stoked. I really hope that you guys can both come for Heroes Con. I'm so excited for that.
I already talked to my wife, and we're planning on both going.
Oh yeah, man! Bring the missus. And I feel bad. I know that you guys both need to go. Like, I mean, I realize it's getting pretty late, so
yeah,
don't want to keep you guys.
Well, I gotta just make sure that my wife knows about those dates, because 1 week during the summertime, I'm sending her on vacation to Florida. As long as it's not that weekend, I'm there. So, and I'm looking at the price for the 3-day pass. Even if I only go Saturday and Sunday and drive home Sunday, it still makes sense to buy the 3-day pass.
Mm-hmm. That's what I love about Heroes Con is like their prices are fair. The show is run immaculately.
A lot of good guests.
I haven't even gotten a chance to look at the guest list yet.
It's long. Bagley's there.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yes. I'm so glad that he's going to be back this year. Because he was there last year, but I did get it. Luckily, it was a good problem to have. I was so busy at Heroes Con that I never got a chance to get up and go anywhere. So, God, I love Heroes Con. That's like one of the things I look forward to the most every year.
Oh, Steranko.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Cool. Maybe I'll might get him to sign another book and submit both at the same time.
Yeah.
Nice.
So do we want to do a last call on if there's any other questions before we wrap it up?
Yep.
So last call.
Yeah. If anybody has questions, shout them out. And while we're waiting on that, I'll just shamelessly plug everything again. we've had it scrolling at the bottom. Thank you, Greg. syndicatecomicsshop.com/shop. You can pre-order our Radiant Pink exclusive as well as our nightclub exclusive. There's tons of badass options, if I do say so myself. I'm really happy because we were able to keep the exclusives. I really feel at a reasonable price. I think $15, a
Yes.
piece is pretty awesome. So and also I feel like we were able to keep the remarks and the sketches at a pretty reasonable price too. Like the blank cover sketches, you get the exclusive and the blank cover sketch. And for both of those, it's actually cheaper than what I charge for the same thing commissions. So you'd actually be getting that for cheaper than I charge like at conventions for a similar commission piece as well. So, and again, we are just so proud of these and we're so happy to be working together on these. John from Syndicate wanted to be on the show tonight, but he has had a rough couple days and he lost his voice. And so he wasn't able to come on. But I know I can speak for everybody where we're just so proud of these and we're so excited to be working together on them. And it would just really mean a lot to all of us if these were successful, and did well and people like them and get behind them. It would just really mean a lot. So thank you guys if you've already supported and pre-ordered, and thank you so much if you're planning to.
And also, yeah, the COAs we got going too.
Yeah. Do we have one more minute for me to run and grab something?
Sure. It's our show.
Okay. All right. All right. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll try to be quick.
I do what I want. Ooh, his chair matches as well.
Yeah, it must suck every time he has to paint the wall. He has to go buy a new chair.
Oh my God, Richard! How long are you going to be in the club for? You're hilarious.
Ha ha ha! Yeah, Larry, you said before that Steranko takes forever to sign.
Oh, does he?
But man, he does have a signature that just.
Oh, I love his signature. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the best signatures. Yeah, and I didn't get that. I bought that at Syndicate because I just looked at it and went, I love that.
I would say, okay, you know how much I would say that rivals my Frank Miller.
No, I disagree. I love your Frank Miller more than that. I love your Frank Miller.
Want to trade?
Well, yours is graded already, though.
It's being graded, yeah. I was fifth in line. It took oh my God.
What's that?
3.5 hours.
For what?
So Larry said he was fifth in line, and it took him 3.5 hours to get to Steranko and get a signature.
Oh my God. So hopefully I cranked up.
Can we get Deegan into a big screen?
Yeah, if you just give me a second real quick.
No, now, Greg.
I did.
I don't know how you did that.
Hopefully you can see these okay. But so there's the certificate of authenticity for Radiant Pink. So that's what's going to come in everybody's signed or remarked copy. So that's pretty exciting. Got the Team Ohana logo on there and Syndicate, and it's like when we discussed these the other day when I was getting them made, we were like, it's official now. We're authenticated. And then I really dig this one too. I think this one is cool. It's got the cover in the background a little bit, and stuff like that. So, and they're nice quality too. Like these are nice cardstock. I know that doesn't matter to everybody, but I nerd out about. Wait, what's up?
The font for your name is different on both books. See, on the Radiant Pink, Deegan Puchkors and Certificate of Authenticity is very block letter, very similar to the way it says Radiant Pink. But then in the horror book, it's got more of a horror font, which is kind of cool too. I love that.
Yeah, because I designed these, so when I was designing them, I was like, I really want them both to be unique. You know, I didn't want us to just kind of have a template and then we popped both of them in there. Like, I think it's cool to have, these unique ones for each book, It's
Yeah.
the little things. We put a lot of love and care into everything that we're doing. So, and that's in every aspect.
Absolutely.
Well, the thing about we didn't want especially Deegan, he didn't want, but none of us wanted COAs that look like we printed off 1 million of them, and we're just going to this certifies that Radiant Pink is an authentic book. Like
Yeah, we didn't want it
has
to
a
look
blank
like
line
copy
with-
paste, insert the blank. Yeah.
Yeah, the COA is just as exclusive as the book itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get
Put
that with
love
the
and
sign
care
to the
into it.
remark, not just a plain book. You buy just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
plain
we're
book,
only
the book
doing them
itself
when they
is
have
COA.
signatures or something, original on them. Because it makes it more special,
Yeah. But I
All
mean, if
right,
you buy just
guys.
the book itself kind of is a COA.
Yeah, the book itself
Cool.
is the COA.
I mean,
at that point. Yeah, thankfully I don't think anybody's out there
I've had a
counterfeiting our
lot of
book.
fun.
Oh yeah, this was a blast.
Right
Thank
now,
you
I'm
guys so
gonna-
much. I feel so bad. We keep talking over each other.
I'm gonna go warm up my pineapple pizza, and I'm gonna put it into an undistressed box and go open up my moonroof and eat it.
Oh man. I hear you, man. I hear you. I think after I get off this stream, I'm just gonna go and find shit to distress. I'm gonna distress my baseboards. I'm gonna distress my Christmas decorations. I'll just send you a picture of every single thing that I distress. And Greg is just gonna be like,
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the adult and shutting us down, Larry.
Yeah, thank you, Larry. You come in clutch throughout the entire live stream. And again, thank you
Larry,
everyone
thank you also
who joined my Patreon and
Patreon.
Yes, seriously. Thank you guys so much. And I love you guys. I'm glad that I got to hang out with you guys again. It's been a minute. So can't wait to see everybody again next month when we release the books and have a bunch more fun stuff going on.
It's awesome. Excited.
One other quick little thing. Timo Ohana does have a Patreon too. Just saying.
And our store appears to be working now. So
on eBay.
On eBay. So
that's a positive.
But Larry, don't buy from it, okay? No, you can buy from it. Go ahead. Larry broke Etsy. So I actually ordered a t-shirt and a hat from our eBay store, paying regular eBay price because I want to at least give us a rating of more than 0 and see how long it takes and make sure it works. So
yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Deegan, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes,
it's been a blast. I always look forward to you being on the show. Even Mrs. Ohana, she's like, "Oh, Deegan's going to be there. She might actually watch this one." But wow, we got so much stuff coming up with these books. We got to make sure that everything's ironed out. So we're going to try to keep the content coming out for you guys as well. I got a CBCS submission coming back probably Monday or Tuesday. It's been there for a year, so there'll be a big unboxing of 17 books of that. But until we see you on the next video, everybody take care. Mahalo.